Bam, we're live. Taylor, thanks for coming back. Chase, thanks for being here. John Young, fresh out of the ambulance. Caleb in the house. Thank you, Caleb. And who did I forget? There he is, Brian Friend. We have 2 cameras up already. Looks like Matt Souza is also roaming the streets. Before we get started here, during the break, I had a chance to watch this YouTube clip that Lauren Khalil put up on the Morning Chalk Up. She's interviewing Andrea Nisler, and I thought this was pretty interesting. We'll listen to like 20 seconds of this. Thank you, Lauren Khalil, in the Morning Chalk Up. Here we go. Action.
I've been having fun with CrossFit.
Was today fun so far? Only one event in, but still. How
I feel right now, I am not, no. Give me like 10 minutes and I'll have fun. It'll be fun.
Okay, we got
right now I have that like burn in your throat,
everybody was saying they had Fran lung.
My mouth tastes like pennies and I don't know if I'm gonna throw up or if I just need to sit down.
Okay, so kind of taking a left turn.
Okay, cut.
He was gonna retire.
What happened to Chase?
I'm right here.
What are we seeing here? Let's start with you, Chase. Here is a team athlete. She goes on to say that she hasn't been training, that she prefers teams so that she can, when she's hurt like this, she can tag someone in. She goes on to say she'll never go individual. Is she just being humble? But and did you expect this from workout one? Is this what they look like at the games?
I mean, you got to think of the training that she's done over the last several years with Mayhem. And prior to that, I mean, like Andrea Nisler made the CrossFit Games individually in 2020 for the first stage. Like, she is one of the fittest females in the field, right? And so her fun training is well above anything that we can even comprehend as most athletes that just do CrossFit recreationally.
She also said that she hasn't been to that place where she went since the games. Mm-hmm. Does that sound normal to you?
Yeah, I mean, you got to think what she's been putting herself through for a couple of years with Rich and the team, and then what they do at the games is, again, even though it's team, it's way more intense, but it's in shorter, stints as far as the intensity is concerned. And coming off the games and what she's done over the last several years, she's probably taken a lot of time off and hasn't. You can push yourself hard in the gym. You can push yourself as hard as you want to, but you go into the competition floor, and if you've been taking it easy in group classes, it's a whole different level of intensity.
Taylor, she said that she has a taste in her mouth like she had a handful of pennies in there. Do the games athletes go there ever outside of competition?
To that intensity?
Yeah, to where you get that copper taste.
I'd imagine she goes there quite a bit. She may not have been there recently, but you don't get to that level by not going there and training.
So that is that Fran cough, that vomitous feel. I mean, you see her in that clip. She almost looks like she is about to vomit. She has a little bit of a gag reflex.
You go there in training, or at least a lot of athletes do. I would assume she does.
Taylor self does. Go ahead, Brian. Oh, we don't have your audio. I like how you just flip that up and bring it down. You're back in the game.
I think it's probably better now. Is it better?
Yeah.
I'm not sure why that happens, but I was listening to her talk about that. I was thinking I think it was a transition between rounds 2 and 3 of that workout where she was kneeling down by the rig in a crouch position and all the other athletes were standing behind their bike kind of resting. And I just thought she was doing that out of strategy, or that was a comfortable breathing position for her to recover. But it sounds more like that might have just been out of necessity, and she was maybe had gone past the line more than she intended early in that workout.
Yeah, great observation. Earlier in the interview, she does say that she went out too hot in that first round. And
it might have been between rounds 1 and 2. I can't remember. I just remember seeing her crouch down there when all the other athletes were already standing and ready to go.
All right. Any surprises here? Are we surprised that DeLugos did as well as he did? Any surprises on the women's side?
Can we pull up one of the leaderboards? We can either use that spreadsheet from Tyler, or it's up on the Zelos Games Instagram, just to give us a little better context.
Sure.
If Nisler did go out too hot, then I'm surprised at how good she recovered from it, because she did fine.
Yeah, she won the event, right?
Yeah, so.
Well, in the case of Nistler, the really interesting thing about that is, if she hadn't done that, was there potential for her to potentially get more reps? Because I think she only ended up winning by one muscle up. And we already talked about how the fact that even getting one extra or two extra muscle ups there, although it's still an event win for her, could have a residual effect on the scores behind her and their potential for points to be earned.
Taylor, any surprises here in the women's lineup that you're looking at? First, Andrea Nestler. 2, Alex Gazan. 3, Christine Kohlenbrander.
No surprises here.
Chase, you like what you see?
Yeah, it's pretty par for the course. I think that's great for Kohlenbrander, actually, with some events we have coming up.
Do you think that
Kohlenbrander is a sneak? She's sneaky on the upper body pulling. We've seen her do well for the most part with the legless rope climb and muscle ups now. But yeah, I agree with Chase. That is setting herself up pretty nicely considering the next 2 workouts.
Okay, let's cruise on over to the boys. Bruce Wayne, I still don't understand the scoring. I just do like I do and just pretend. I just pretend. I just pretend. James Sprague in first place. Logan Ewing in second place. Tola tied with Tola Moraquinho, and then Tudor Magda in fourth place. Any surprises here?
Not after the first event. I think Sprague was the one you looked at. And I heard you guys talking about the bigger body or the taller athletes for the men that should fare well on the bike and the step overs just because of their size and their power output. But Sprague is one of those longer athletes, but not one of the bigger ones. And I think that played to his size and his skill set really nicely. So I wasn't surprised to see Sprague up there. That's great for Tola. I think Tola is a very underrated gymnastics athlete. He actually is phenomenal at most gymnastics. It's really the more longer endurance ones where he suffers. And, for a muscle up workout for DeLugos at that high volume, I mean, you got the snatches coming up, you got this next event, like those are 2 dudes that are going to definitely put a charge in those top 3 spots going into the second event.
Taylor, anything there that looks out of place to you?
On the men's side, no, not at all. I think the big thing to me is, I'm interested to see how Tudor Magda fares as the weekend goes. I don't know, as the only games athlete in the men's field or individual games athlete in the men's field, it's interesting to see him as 4th. So we'll see.
John, there were some challenges. I don't know if you were able to see them, but in particular, Tola made a challenge. It worked out in his favor. He was able to get a rep back. What do you think about this sort of review challenge process and how it's playing out?
In light of how the scoring is, I think it's very important that they have that opportunity to challenge calls, because like Brian said, the matter of 1 rep or 2 reps, if you can challenge, are you only allowed to challenge 1 rep, or are you allowed to challenge a set?
You get one challenge per day, but you could challenge a specific rep, you could challenge a specific set, or you could challenge. I don't think my judge was giving me credit for lockouts and muscle ups throughout that workout. So you just have to be specific in nature to what you want to challenge.
Okay, hold on. Stand by, John. Hold on. We'll continue this. Can we get the audio from this camera? Thank you.
But the bar was up to her, she was cycling it, and there was a battle between her and her judge, which of course, like that first event, we can go back and retroactively fix it, but make a call on your end and then fix it on the other. If you want to be a little aggressive, that's fine. Cool? Those are trying to go points facing. They always are facing that way, but if you're looking at it and it looks like they're bouncing it, or it looks like they're coming off their shoulders too soon, give them a no rep and fix it later. That's why we have to review. It works so far, so good. Okay? Working on that. Now, what we learned in that one was heat 1 goes, something happens. And it was they touched the bike too soon. Retroactively, we were letting them be more aware of it. We're going to be letting them aware very soon of this instance. So I'll walk through. It's not that much time. So help me out with it and say, you can go as quick as you want. The quicker you go, the more you're playing with fire. Use your own verbiage to that. I will with myself if I want to try it. Some of them are giving a little attitude, but it's been good. Cool? Any questions on that? Pattern of it, of course, you do your power cleans, elbows through the plane of the bar. How do I feel?
Elbows in front of the bar as the criteria.
Flash. Like muscle ups. I heard some people saying some stuff, but when I check with all of you guys, what does it look like when it's good? Which usually means when they're fresh, it doesn't degrade. If there's degradation, which there wasn't, you guys were good at giving no reps. You guys did awesome. Don't do 5 Fast and Furious. If they're trying to do 9 and it doesn't look like 5, we know what it looks like. Everyone's different. That's why we're better than computers, because we can see with our eyes. Computers don't have those things. It goes on the thrusters, flash, on the elbows. What does it look like at around 5? Should sample around 7 or 9, 7 and 9. Any questions on that? So that's 5, and this is 7. You know what it looks like? If this is 5, and it's going to this is going to be 5, it doesn't matter if you're on the internet. That's how they move, and they've proven it when they were fresh. Everyone's clear with that, right? If you don't believe it, let's work through it right now. But if you're on board, fresh, fatigue, same. What's the question? Or do you want to be on the knee like entire time? Good, yes, great. Remember when we were talking through this, it was, you only put your hand up on the 9. So, let's go through the whole workout. 5 power cleans. You're here, 3, 2, 1, go. And they come back and do their burpees. Let's say they finish their cord, they turn around and do their pick. Come back on over. 7 power cleans, 7 burpees, 7 thrusters, 7 burpees. Takes 7, come back and do their 9. They're doing their 9 power cleans. They're doing 5 minutes, 6, 7, 8, 9. Judge. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9. Notice how my hands don't change. Jared, we're changing this, right? Because I want them to be focused on the reps and the movement. Everybody can see that they got 5 left. They don't need to know 4, 3, 2, 1 because the connection between the movement and all that, I think there's room for error there. We don't want room for error. Everyone's got that, right? I think Connor, you and I, or was it Travis?
Did he just say that they're not going to count down with the hand? It's just going to be held up to be 5, and then it stays at 5 until they're done.
Yeah, that was actually a big point of contention after the open workout with Dan Bailey and Graham Holmberg. I can't remember what year it was, but they miscounted. It was a cleans and toes to bar. Was it? Yeah,
That was
no, it was a
BKG.
cleans toes to bar
It was
double
BKG
under.
and
Oh
Dan
yeah,
Bailey.
BKG and Dan Bailey, and they always counted down from 1, except when the judge screwed it up that year and counted 1 less rep for Dan Bailey. So at the games, some still do it, but they told him to stop basically like counting down with their fingers because you have to think about what number they're on, what finger you have up, rather than just focusing on calling the reps that they have left. So they stopped doing that in the games.
It's workout 16.2 if y'all want to find that on YouTube. It's an awesome YouTube open video.
It was in that garage.
Yeah.
Something that is worth considering, I think, is like, let's just say they're on the 9 thrusters, and then for whatever reason someone has to break. If and the judge has their hand up at 5, I think that at that point, if you changed it to 2, so that the people could know, okay, when they go back, they're going to only have 2 reps left, because it's not conflicting with what he was talking about there, which is their ability to assess movement quality while also trying to count down on their hand. Now he's talking about the finish of the workout.
So if they can't see your hand, they're not looking at your hand, they're doing their burpees, they're not even paying attention to you. Make sure that they know when they hit 9, that because in their mind they're going to be counting 2, it's just 9, right? So like, we don't need them to keep going just for the sake of you being like, you're done. So 6, 7, 8, 9, so they know because they're going to be 9 at that point. So
They also won't be looking at your fingers.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, this is up.
Voice is better than the fingers.
Something else did he say that everything's been pretty smooth except we just got a little bit of attitude from Tola? Was that one of the things Hiller said?
I don't know if he singled out Tola there. I think he was mostly just saying, the athletes get a little intense and can have maybe a little bit of pushback or attitude, but the event one overall was really smooth from the judging side of things. I think that's what Andrew was communicating to his team.
Okay. And then he was telling people like, hey, if you're not sure if a rep is good or not when it's overhead, use your memory from a previous rep they had done and be like, hey, did they get it further back? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
I heard him talking about basically consistency in two regards. One being that within the context of just an athlete doing the workout, that what they're doing in terms of movement quality in the round of 5 should be the expectation, and same in the round of 7 and 9 with the barbell and or the burpees. But additionally, that he wants to set the tone with a heat 1 that is a successful tone that then be repeated across all the heats. We talked about it Rogue a bunch, where sometimes things happen on the floor that you maybe don't expect. And then you have to make the decision as the head judge, okay, am I going to intervene so that things are different for the upcoming heats, or am I going to just let it be and understand that that's not optimal, but we at least have consistency? He's trying to get ahead of that.
I want you guys to see something here that you should not take for granted. 2 years ago, although nothing has changed on the planet, 2 years ago, we weren't free people to stand around in a circle like this and put our hands in the circle. So I want you to know that since yesterday was Veterans Day, to know that not to take your freedoms for granted, and they will be taken again. Brian, you were laughing when Hiller was cleaning the bar. Is that just because you hadn't seen that before, where a head judge is just demoing a heavy clean and showing his elbows coming to the front?
No. I just think he sensed the camera there and saw the barbell and got excited, so he had to do a couple reps.
Just started. Okay. And is Taylor, is this pretty typical criteria? Elbow in front of the bar. Is that just an easy way for them to judge? It doesn't have to be on your shoulders. Your hands don't have to be back. It's just like, hey, as soon as your elbows break that vertical plane, we're good to go. Rep counted.
Yeah, your elbows breaking the plane of the barbell is pretty standard. They're not making the bar at rest on the shoulder, or the bar supported by the shoulder standard. It's just elbow in front of the bar.
Okay. Did you like that, John? Good enough? Good to go? Easy to judge? Full range of motion?
Yeah. But for a workout that's a sprint, yeah. I mean, that's pretty standard, like Taylor said.
Chase, I want to go way back into your memory here. And I think it was the lady who won Spirit of the Games one year, Deborah Carson. And she was, I think, doing some high-speed hang cleans or something. And that's when that issue first came on the scene. I can't remember. Does any of that sound familiar, what I'm saying to you? And
Is
has
that
this
when
problem
they
been
started
fixed?
the rebounding of the hang power clean deal when it started coming into play? Yeah, I think, as the athletes evolved in their abilities and the weights didn't really evolve with them, is that you can get into a position where your knees and hips are fully extended and your elbows are flashing through, but those elbows can get caught right below the bar, right behind the bar. And it might feel like they're in front. And it's kind of one of those things that where, at these weights, at these reps, I'm not sure it will be that big of a difference, but maybe those first 5 will be the tricky set for everybody at the front.
And I will say athletes at this level are pretty darn good at when they get no rep for that they'll just flash harder the next rep without missing a beat. Most times, every time I've seen a no rep, an athlete just flashes way more, and then everything goes good from there.
And the judging criteria is a balancing act, because obviously you want full range of motion, but you want to set the judges up for success, right?
Well, Hiller in the beginning of the brief said, don't be afraid to throw a no rep out, even if you're not sure, because we can retroactively go back and maybe deduct that time if they do challenge that. And you'll see that a lot sometimes in competitions where depending on the number, right? If 1 is a certain percentage of all the reps, but if you're doing 100 wall ball shots and you no rep the first one right off the bat, it just kind of gets your athlete in line and tells them what you're looking for right off the front. Now, rep 1 out of the 5, that's 20% right in the beginning of the event.
Well, this is going to be an interesting test of how this challenge system plays out also. There's only 2 workouts, and every athlete gets 1 challenge per day if they want to use it. In the first workout, there was only 1 challenge, which means that 22 of the athletes still have a challenge in hand. So if you think that it's close, or you got a no rep, and you feel confident about the rest of your reps in that set or with that movement, I feel like we could potentially see a lot of challenges if no reps are being doled out early in this one.
Do we know the burpee standard?
Yes.
And so if
facing
you're a
burpee.
coach, you're telling your athletes right now as you go into this event, hey, push until the clock's done. See if you, because that's where probably one of the major challenges that everyone can actually run the line with can get an extra rep, right? Hey, just push and we'll challenge. We have the free challenge anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's as we were talking about earlier with Z-Score and James Sprague. These are new things for the athletes and the coaches and their teams to figure out, but they're talking about it. They're trying to learn and implement it the best they can. So that's why I said will be interesting to see if a lot of athletes end up using their challenge here, considering hardly any did in the first workout.
Look at this. This is James Sprague. By the way, James Sprague's that's James Sprague's girlfriend on the right. Her grandmother already made a comment in the comments saying thanks for the live feed, which I thought was sweet. But what about this? Is this a distraction here for James Sprague? Do you see this at the CrossFit Games, Chase? You know, making googly eyes at his girlfriend in the back. And
At the CrossFit Games, no. Here, I think it's just fun, and that just might be. And here's the thing, though, I think that plays into the lane who James really is. He's a fun, he's just a Labrador puppy out there who's really good at CrossFit. And, this might just be the thing that makes him him. And a lot of times in these off-season events, it's like, it is for fun. I mean, this is for fun. CrossFit Games, a little bit different, but sometimes keeping athletes in their element, whether it's against the norm, is good for their competitive setting.
okay, gotcha. I'm assuming, Souza, that we are looking at the warm-up area.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
And
Or the love making area, depending on.
the googly eye area. There's 23 minutes until event number 2 starts. Why are they warming up too soon? 23 minutes to go?
No, they're just kind of hanging out. A lot of them are just probably loosening up a little bit, maybe their legs from that last event. They're basically, the atmosphere here is just like calm, relax, hanging out, stretching out. Even though James is making Google eyes, they are doing hip stretches over here. A couple athletes are just kind of cruising on bikes, keeping their heart rate elevated, warming up their elbows for those cleans. Pretty much it.
All right, thank you. Hey, Susie, you might want to log out and log back in because every 15 seconds when you talk, there's a sound of like someone vomiting. You guys hear that?
I thought it was just like just satanic words coming through every half second.
It's like a frog croaking.
Okay, that's just my gag reflex watching the googly eyes. Let me log out and I'll log back in.
All right, cool. Thank you. Can we pull up workout number 2? And
also, who was asking about the burpee standard?
I did.
What was there something specific that you wanted to know?
No, that could be hairy with judges. The burpees, like if there's an over-eager judge, if the middle judge at Rogue shows up, I could see her no repping every single burpee on this workout. If it's a particular standard.
No, Hiller's been pretty thorough today. He went over with the judges this morning the standards. He went over with the athletes the standards. We had demos for both of those. He's redoing it now with the judges there. I think that this is a workout very similar to the one you're referencing from Rogue, where judging decisions can come into play. And so knowing that, we're trying to set ourselves up best for success by having the conversations multiple times, having a visual, allowing for the opportunity to ask questions. Yes, it's still human decision, human error, but I feel like he's done a good job of prepping both athletes and judges for success on this one. And then it's just a matter of doing it.
I don't want to dog any of the athletes here. The performance is incredible. We've seen incredible stuff. That being said, there was something that Taylor alluded to, or I think it was Taylor in one of our pre-shows, that I don't think I was taking into perspective, that the best of the best of the best aren't here. And so all these guys, although these guys are 1%ers of 1%ers, there's, top 40 fittest people in the world here for sure, hands down, unquestionable. We're not seeing some of the scores that maybe we predicted because we did just come from looking at Rogue. That being said, I'm going to ask you this, Chase, and ask you how wrong I am. I'm thinking that these power cleans here, that no one breaks them up.
No.
And the boys were like, nah, buddy, people are going to be breaking this up. What are your thoughts on that?
It just depends on what round. I don't think
I was saying none of the
breaking these
rounds.
up. If you're going to win this, whoever wins this isn't breaking it up.
I think what Taylor said was the 9 thrusters. Everybody's not going to go unbroken.
No,
Well,
what I said, no,
Hmm.
Sevon's correct. I said there are 4 to 6 guys in the field that I thought would have to break the round of 9 power cleans.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would say there might be more. How many are here competing right now?
Well, there's only 12, but I think there's
11,
4 guys.
11.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I
Maybe
think
the
there's
bottom
4
half.
11. Yeah. I thought that if they push the workout hard, that we'd likely see 4 guys who.
Yeah, if anybody goes full Hellbig, they're going to break up into singles in the last round. of 9.
What, you saw that, huh?
Yeah, I did.
But this is like if anyone's done DT, you get into those rounds of 4 or 5, and you think I should be able to at least do my 8 hang power cleans that I want to do, and then maybe take a break before doing my shoulder to overheads. But sometimes that grip just starts to go, and I wouldn't be surprised if you do see some athletes who, even though they think they have the capacity for it, they just recognize I have to drop and reset, and that reset may only be 2 breaths, 2 seconds, something like that. But the grip fatigue could be there. We talked about how there was obviously a grip component this morning, and that they will be racing. So, they're going to be riding the line.
Think about one thing that I think about with this. Now, the weights aren't increasing, but Happy Star in 2020, they had those increasing rep schemes, but also increasing weight. And everybody went unbroken in the first round because it was light and low reps, and then it got worse and worse. We're not increasing the weight, but I think those bar-facing burpees are really going to start to hurt people in that round of 7. Once you start getting to 20 plus at the speed that they have to go. Right, you have to race the 5 on each end just to stay in pace with some of those top 5 guys. The Lugos and Tolo Marquinhos, like they're going to cycle that bar. They're going to go unbroken. And so if you want to hang with them is a different question than should you hang with them. This is one of those events, Taylor, I actually love your opinion on this. In a competition setting is like, I know I'm not going to beat those 3 guys. And the worst thing I could do is try to beat those 3 guys. I want to beat the 9 idiots behind me that are also going to try to beat those dudes.
Would you say idiots?
Hey, speaking of.
Idiot, you idiot. John, did you get clarification on any? Do you have any burpee questions for Hiller? No pressure if you don't.
No, that's where it could get hairy for judges. Is just all it was. I could see that happening.
Hiller, are you keeping them facing forward the whole time? Or are you letting them
They
jump
have
in
to
the
be,
air?
yes.
Face forward, 2 feet.
Jump in the air. What do you mean they got to jump? Yes, they have to
So
jump.
when they're jumping over the bar, can they turn in the air or face forward the whole time? Like
they can turn. They can turn.
They can turn. Okay.
Yeah.
So you could jump sideways. You can jump any way you want over the bar.
As long as they are jumping and it's a jump.
Okay.
And so if you were to read the online write-up, every which way that we deemed you could write, you have to jump and not step is written in there. To which extent they have to jump.
So both feet off the ground.
Go ahead.
Both feet off the ground at the same time.
At some point, yes.
Right.
Without making it without trying to short it into what you would look like a weird lunge jump, which has happened in the past. We won't say names.
Do you think the workout's more burpee dependent or barbell dependent or pretty well balanced?
I would say that if you're worse at either of them, it becomes dependent on that thing.
Okay.
If you can smash the barbell, then the burpees are easy. If you're not so great at burpees, then extreme. Like if you're smaller, the barbell is going to thrash you to the point where your burpees are going to suffer.
I love this event.
Yeah,
I love the movements they're using in all combos. It's so good.
I feel like you just have to know your abilities in this workout. Like
Hold on a sec, guys. We got Hiller here, the judge. Let's give him some judges questions, then we'll come back. We'll talk about the workout. Sorry to interrupt, John. I promise I'll come right back to you. Andrew, tell us what happened with Tola, if you can, quickly. What exactly what happened?
It couldn't have gone better, is what happened. The judge in the lane made the correct call for what it was, which was that with what was happening, doing a handful of muscle ups in the AMRAP fashion at the 3-minute mark, listening to the announcer and facing and observing the repetitions, issued the no rep.
Meaning he didn't get it in time. The clock ran out, elapsed.
Correct. I believe it was what would have been the 18th repetition, but made the correct call because you can't go back and take it away for no reason. We can go back and give that athlete that rep back, which is the entire idea behind the challenge. So Toa had a visual of the clock. So he challenged as he's up there, he could see himself lock out. He can see the clock, but with the angle which the judge was looking at the athlete, making sure the athlete was doing what it was doing, and using the audio that Bella on the mic heard that the time had expired. And when those things lined up, just said no rep, it didn't count. Tola did the right thing, used his challenge, went through the review, and I actually have a clip of it, and I'll show it, showing that he did do indeed the rep within the allotted time that he should have.
And that clip is basically a still frame showing him at the top, and then you see the clock has not elapsed.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, fantastic.
Awesome.
Good
It's
job.
Couldn't have gone better.
Congratulations. And then I also heard a rumor that afterwards, the judge that had their rep added back on walked by and whispered in Tola's ear, "I'm going to get you later." Is that true?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
They already have their lanes assigned similarly. Yes. Yeah.
Do you do anything like that? If there was some contention between the reps, move the judges around, be like, okay, you're not going to do Tola again? Just
here's the thing, and I know we spoke a little bit about Rogue in the previous weekend and the one.
And I'm not saying that needs to be done, by the way. I'm just wondering.
Well,
yeah.
There's discussion. I don't know if you see what I'm doing, but I'm like going up, and I'm like at the end of I'm like, you guys good? Challenges? Anything? What do you got? And if there is something, there's like a diffusing process. So I like someone's up. It's usually maybe they're not upset, but they're the biggest fallback to some of this stuff was that there's something that happens, and then you feel as if you've taken a little bit of the steam out of the athlete who's doing the workout, if that makes any sense. And at which rate, it's frustrating. And then you've got to come up and tell them why it happened. And with the amount of things that we have in place and with the way that we believe that it's been presented, there's no reason to be frustrated because it's happening for everybody. And that's what's important. The big thing on that last one was like, are your hands on the pedals? And the time hasn't hit yet because you're not allowed to touch the handles or the pegs or the feet pedals before the time goes. So we were given the 2-second penalty, and some athletes were like, what? Like, well, you were told aggressively, handful of times before the workout as well, don't do it. If you did it, penalty. Everyone got one if they did it. So
that's just a brain fart on the athletes.
And at which rate with Tola, it's like Tola, of course, at the end of it was like, what? I don't get. Did I get 2 muscle ups taken off? It's like, no, you got a 2-second penalty for touching the bike early. And he goes, oh, okay. And then you can use your challenge on the muscle up, which he did, and then he got it back. And then he's like, oh, okay, nothing's wrong. Cool, good job. And he's cool.
Yeah, awesome.
So it's working well. Yeah, it's good. It's any common sense to like the 400 level of a college course, in my opinion.
The communication's huge. I feel like anytime you have athletes that get really frustrated, it's when communication is zero and they're just not even heard when they feel like a mistake has been made. It's just like, nope, we're going with the judge's call.
I don't know if did Sousa stream the briefing?
Yeah, we tried.
Yeah.
The audio is rough, but go on.
So I know. I mean, you guys have done briefings before in the past. You've seen them, and I've done them in the past at the regional level at various events. And what happens is you look left, you look right, and people are on their phones. They're not paying attention. I know how to do a fucking burpee. So how do you keep them engaged? How do you make sure they're hearing the things that you were saying was important to me? Like keep it short. And afterwards, I had an athlete come up and go, you know what? I went to this event. That was so much better. Like I know what to do and I know what not to do. And like, oh, thank you. That was great. And that meant a lot to me because it was important that I did that. Like, they said that the event that they were at, which was an event we all know of, big, took an hour and a half. That was like 20 minutes. And she said she was engaged.
It helps having an athlete do that.
I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, briefings can be very, very long. Another problem at these other events, and it's not, I don't know if it's the event's fault, is that the briefings are done at 7 a.m. in the morning, which is pretty brutal on the athletes. Oh, any more questions for Andrew Hiller before we let him go? Thanks, Andrew.
So far.
Yep.
Cool. That's good. All right.
Thanks,
this
brother.
one will be good too. Yep. Everyone's been briefed. The judges are ready to roll. You ever see Wolf of Wall Street? I keep imagining like I'll be talking to him and he's walking through him. It's like my killers. You are fucking warriors. If you don't pick up the phone, you fucking die. Like they're doing good. I can't speak highly enough of how they're doing. It's cool. I'll let you go.
Awesome. I can't wait to see what they say behind your back on Reddit. Okay.
Hope you're terrible shit.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. I think that's Alexis Johnson. Super impressive in the first heat. If you guys don't know how this plays out, I will try to tell you without Brian here. This is Brian's gig. Oh, maybe Brian will tell you here real quick. There's an order to which the athletes, they're not in heats based on their performance, or they're not seeded by their performance. But the way it goes is everyone will have a chance to go first, second, and third. So if Alexis Johnson went in the first heat in the first event, in the second event, she'll go in the second heat. In the third event, she'll go in the
third heat.
And then the fourth event, And then the fourth event, the best people, they get seeded and the best people go last and the athletes go first. Más o menos.
That's how we labeled it too.
I like that. I like it. I don't know if I like it for every event, but I think it works perfectly for this event.
Yeah, I think it's okay. You see the field of athletes, you see the number of workouts and whatever, and you can come up with stuff like this that it just changes it up a little bit.
There's equity. There's equity, and that's all we want is equity.
Oh, your favorite word.
Yeah. So this is the warm-up area. I do not know who the black shirts are. Do they work for Yeti? What does that say?
No, they're athlete control. And,
those are my
okay.
friends, actually, Savan. They came here. Both those girls train at my gym. They came here to volunteer for this event.
Those
and
the
they're on
Barnes
school.
girls.
Barnes is one of them, and Powers is the other.
How heavy will if they're doing 115 thrusters and power cleans? How heavy will these girls warm up with?
The workout weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they won't go over it.
Ah, man.
There's no point.
There's no point, but you do see some stupid shit in the warm-up area sometimes.
I could see if someone's not confident in the weight to do 1 or 2 reps right before they go out a little above, just so when they pick the bar up. I used to do that with Fran when I first started CrossFit. I was like, okay, I'm going to do a couple reps at 135, strip it, and then start the workout 2 minutes afterwards. So it just feels light. Like I need that mental confidence when I pick up the bar. So you might see some of those athletes that are not confident play around with just some mind games like that. So it's not uncommon.
Taylor hates that. Every time we've talked, this has come up on the show a dozen times. Taylor hates that. I love that.
I used to do that when I tried to like max out anything.
I mean, but here's the thing. These athletes have known about this workout for how long? 2 weeks, Brian? A week at least?
Right.
I mean,
and it's not heavy.
Yeah, it's not that heavy.
It's not that heavy. I think going fast, it's heavy for how fast they think they have to go and how fast you really do have to go to win it. And I think that when you have a workout released early enough, the way this one was, you have the opportunity to maybe do the workout at 170 or try a little bit of a heavier weight and overload the workout potentially. And so I don't know. I mean,
here's the thing. I'm no kinesiologist. I don't know how fucking muscle recruitment works or any of that shit. But if you're going to do 2 or 3 thrusters before the workout at 135 and the weight is 115, I would guess that somehow your body prepares for that weight. And then when you get out on the floor, you somehow tricked yourself into recruiting more muscle, more fiber, whatever the fuck the words are. And then when you go, it actually gives you an advantage. And that's the camp I think Chase and I are in. Taylor says hogwash. Just be warm and go.
I don't know. Maybe. Sounds like science.
At least for like the first 5 reps, and then after that, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
Like once you start those burpees after the first 5 power cleans, all bets are off.
I mean, it might be mental too, and the mental side of everything for sure has quite the tangible effect.
Okay, so look at these 2 things I'm noticing. In those warm-up reps, I wasn't seeing them push their head through in those thrusters.
No, they can get called for that.
They can or can't?
They can.
They can.
Yeah.
Your head has to pass your shoulders.
Oh, really?
Who do we got winning this workout on the women's side? Are we making predictions yet?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, this is actually kind of cool because of the rotating heats. So we're gonna have Sigurdardottir and Nistler in heat 1. Obviously, Nistler won the opening workout. I think that she's definitely among the favorites to win this one. But even if she wins her heat, she'll have set a time to beat. And with Colin Brander coming in heat 2, already she was kind of bummed about event 1 because she had to go first and she set the mark to beat. Now she has the opportunity to respond. So if Nistler sets a top time or Sigurdardottir sets a top time, can someone in heat 2 look at that, and can someone in heat 3 look at that and chase it down? And when you have the leader in heat 1 now, and then the second place in heat 2, Sigurdardottir is also in that first heat, but you see some of these. Gazan's in second, sorry, and she's in the final heat, so she'll have a chance to see all the top competitors around her go before she takes the floor.
It's
so I
so
think that
helpful
there is
to be
nuance.
in the back heats.
You think
Sorry,
You think those 3 athletes, Gazan, Colin Brander, and Andrea Nistler, are the 3 to beat in this workout?
I actually no. I think that if I was just picking in a vacuum, I would pick Nistler. I think Devin Kim's going to do great on this, and
I think Kyra Milligan and Roran Scott are probably 1 and 2.
I mean, I think range of motion is going to come into play a lot in this, just because I think the more women
Meaning no reps, John. That's what you're saying. No reps.
No,
no.
barbell cycle.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry.
Those are great shouts, Taylor. Yeah, both Kyra and Roe have a great chance to do well in this workout. They're a little bit lower on the leaderboard, so they also
Powerful.
have not very much to lose. And Roe's in the second heat, Kyra's in the last heat. So definitely athletes that are looking at this after event one, if they're at the bottom with a sprint style workout like this, there's nothing to lose. You can definitely go for it here and maybe see a little bit of a change up.
4 minutes till showtime. Let's take a look at the men.
Tola and DeLugos. It's theirs to lose, I would say. Maybe even
certainly. John, what do you think about that? I mean, certainly range of motion is not in DeLugos' favor on this workout. Do you think that the strength is going to be able to overcome here?
It just depends on the burpees. If nobody else can sprint the burpees the whole entire time, as in like 2 feet up, 2 feet down, 2 feet up, 2 feet down, the whole entire time, I do think Matt's going to be able to do that, and I think Tola's going to be able to do that.
The thing I question about Matt is he is extremely powerful, but he's not a fast squatter. So I feel like someone like Tola or Tudor probably have a better chance of winning this workout than Matt. He's for sure strong and powerful enough, but I don't know that he squats fast enough to win the workout.
I like Tola.
Somebody like Jack Rosema could come out and surprise in this workout. Jack Rosema's a very quick squatter, and he's strong. I know he snatched 300. So like somebody like that could surprise you just because he's 5'8", 5'9", and the other two are bigger. Like Tola's bigger than that too. He's not Matt DeLugos, but he's 6'6'1".
It does look like the athletes are taking the floor. Are you staying with us, Taylor?
I gotta head out.
All right. Thanks for coming back on it. Sorry for the last minute notice.
Dude, no worries. Thank you guys. See you soon.
Chase, are you
Hold on,
hanging
we're
out?
going to hook up a special guest here for heat one.
I can stick around until my wife throws my son in the room.
All right. Is that how you get notified?
No, he already woke up from his nap, so I'm on borrowed time.
I know Ethan Helbig's going to try to beat those two.
Yeah, who will win the round of 5? And then who will win the whole workout? I think Tola's training he did over the last year you're going to have to want to hurt bad to win this event. That's just what this event is. And I think that's where you may see Nisser be a little gun shy because of what she's been doing over the last couple months since the games, right? Like that's not a fun place to go unless you really want to be there for a good reason.
And she already went there early in the workout this morning without necessarily meaning to. It's like maybe that's in your mind. Do I want to do that again?
Yeah, she said she was tasting pennies. This workout is tasting pennies.
To taste pennies on a muscle up workout is scary, right? Like that shouldn't be happening. I know there's a bike and step overs, but this is the pennies workout.
Let's start with the lane 4 and work our way down. Can you tell me who we're looking at, Brian?
Yeah, red shirt closest to the screen, Andrea Nisler. Next to her, black shirt tied up there is Elena Buds. Moving that way is just out of sight by the judge right now with the red headband on. We'll see later on is Elia Miller. And then in the last lane farthest from us in the gray is Sola Sigurdardottir.
30 seconds.
Brian, shout out for getting her name right every time, by the way. That's not easy to do.
Impressive.
Five syllable names. Very, very challenging.
Oh, and look, the camera stopped dropping frames right at the beginning here. Amazing. The workout is called Royal Flush, second workout of the Zelos games. First heat.
Nisler is cranking on those power cleans. I guess she doesn't care, which is why she's so damn good on teams. That's awesome.
Nisler's in the red, closest to the camera.
Yep.
So notice the step back over there. The athletes, both in the live competition and at home, have to face the same direction the entire time. Because the reps are all odd numbers, that means after every round of burpees, they'll have to step back over the bar to their original spot before they pick it up for their next set with the barbell.
So that's a jump. That's a jump what Nisler's doing. Clearly she has to jump.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
though that 1 foot comes over the bar and lands on the ground first, it's not a lunge over.
And Ella Miller did not. I don't think she was jumping.
Oh,
You've got
Which one is she on the
they've
next
got
side?
they got 8 judges on the floor right now, 4 in the front and then 4 in the
Well,
back.
Nistler
Plus
is
Hiller out
breaking
there.
up right now. That shocks me.
and she just went 4-2-1.
Yeah.
And when you say breaking up, she dropped it, but she didn't go touch and go, but she immediately picked it back up.
Well, some of that is like if touch and go just isn't good for you because of the lowering of the barbell, right? It's short, it's quick, but
If
it's
you
still
have to catch
energy.
it.
Yeah, it's still energy lost. And so those breaks are very intentional, not as a sign of fatigue as much.
That is something you can practice, though, being able to come down real quick without touching.
And for Andrea, she's very good at power cleans. She's not the best at cycling moderate weight thrusters. We saw that at the games. I think it was 2021.
But look, she's going to the step up right now. And I think the winner, there she goes. But the winner will not do that. I think the winner is going to be just up and down the whole time. Go ahead, Chase. That's my bad.
No, you're good. You're good. And I think that break in the power cleans is to try to offset the thruster where you don't want to break. It's really easy to break on a power clean. It is not easy to break on a thruster and to get back
into the
it.
final round.
It's 2, 3. She needs 9.
She might just do straight threes.
No, yeah.
She's got a 5-rep lead on Sigurdardottir and Buds going into this final round.
6.
Okay, after seeing her go, I think Kohlenbrander is going to win because I think Kohlenbrander will do it unbroken.
It's also a huge advantage to go last in an event like this. And more of it's just to see what other people do and especially what you probably shouldn't do. And really what you need to do just to get the win. Although with the scoring system, I guess it plays to getting a bigger win than just winning by
Judge's
10.
hand is up.
And the other 3 athletes are really neck and neck, all getting to this round of burpees about the same time.
Nistler's making a statement.
I don't know if
I
she
saw
is.
her also peeking across the floor there. I don't think she necessarily needs to do that there. She needs to keep in mind that there's 2 more heats to come, and probably the most relevant competitors are in those heats. So she should not be cruising into the finish. This is where, especially with this model, you need to send it all the way through.
So this is it. When she's done with the thruster, she's done.
No, she still has
Oh, no.
burpees.
You got 8 burpees left, or 9 burpees left.
And this is
And
where
we
I
had
think the
said that
burpees are going
4
to take their
minutes.
toll.
Right, and we said 4 minutes would be like the expected overall winning time. She's got 20 seconds to get 9 burpees if she wants to beat the 4-minute mark.
No, she can sprint this home now. When this is over, I had a question for you, Chase. Workout question.
Yes, it's heavy enough, John.
No, it's not. What it's not.
401.
Nice.
Dang.
Bud second to the burpees here. Miller 1 rep behind. Sigurdardottir 1 rep behind that. We're going to have a 3-way race on the burpees here. This should be fun.
What was Nistler's time? 4:03?
401.
401. $428 for Buds.
Oh, we can see the
430
clock.
for Miller. 434 Sigurdardottir. So we have obviously the outlier time with Nistler 401, which is time to beat. Those other 3 times all center right around the 430 mark. So we can keep that in mind as other ladies are coming up later. You do not want to be on the wrong side of 430, basically.
Man, there's a lot of hurt people on the floor.
Which is why it's perfect that it's also the last event of today for them, because they can do a full send here and knowing that they have plenty of time to recover before getting back at it tomorrow.
Now, Chase, do you think it'd be more beneficial to step up on the 5 and 7, but go unbroken on the lifts, and then sprint the 9s and go unbroken on the 9s and the lifts too, versus what Andrea did there?
Like sending early and just trying to hang on at the end?
No. Just
Very
going
nice.
unbroken,
Just-
but stepping up on the burpees. Like not sprint, not doing the sprint burpees, just step ups on the burpees.
Yeah.
But unbroken on the barbell movements, and then on your 9s, send it if you can. You know
Well,
what
this
I mean?
is definitely one of those events that you need to practice a couple times before you get here, because it answers that question, right? Like, and for me, it's case by case. I'd be more beneficial to step up on the burpees and save some for the barbell, because that's where I'm the weakest. Where those on the bar, you know, it's like, okay, maybe that little step will slow me down, but it's going to keep my heart rate down. Then I can crush on the barbell. So yeah, I'm with you, but this is kind of one of those, is like, you need to play to your strengths as perfectly as you can, because one, it's super intense, but there's such a difference between the bar work and the burpee work. But the burpee work's it's the same number of reps with the barbell, but between the 21 power cleans and thrusters versus the 42 bar facing burpees, is playing your cards right is really the biggest question to answer there. And I think that comes with doing this once or twice beforehand.
There's the new ladies lined up and ready to go. Alexandra, thank you. Alexandra Berry, thank you very much. Who are our next 4 candidates? Man, they really did look wounded walking out of there.
Oh yeah, I bet it don't feel good.
This is not one, like, you want to be in the later heat because you get a good idea of what people are going to do, but it's also one of those that you don't want to watch it happen and know what you're going to have to do after seeing them come off the floor.
Souza, I can't unmute you, brother.
Sorry about that. That's good. No, they couldn't hear you. You're all right. Savon, to your point about them being really hurt after that workout, like, nobody was even looking for an interview. They actually walked past Laura and I and everything else and just shook their heads like, no. I don't know if you saw that with us. So they were hurting after that workout.
That's good enough for us. That's good enough for us. We'll take it. We'll take a no. We'll take a no from Payne. I wonder if these girls look at that and are like, oh shit. Like, you just saw like your brother get beaten and now dad's coming to your room.
They all do want to know what the time to beat is, though. So like, as we were talking about, you know, having that marker out there and knowing what it is in their mind, obviously weighing against the fact that they know it's going to hurt.
We got Alexis Johnson in the front there in the pink, Roe Scott in the black, Christine Collenbrander in the blue, and in the white,
Samantha Petrick.
Thank you. Damn. Thank you, Brian. Samantha Petrick. Are we on schedule, Souza? Is everything on schedule with this event?
Yeah, so far it's running great.
Writing down their names here. And we think the winner is in this heat, Christine Collenbrander. Is that what we're thinking?
I think she's got a shot. She's definitely strong enough to do this unbroken, but like what me and Chase were talking about, I don't know if that's more beneficial to pace the burpees a little bit and then and go unbroken on the weights. I don't know if that's faster than what Nistler did. We don't know until we see it.
Clydesdale Media, Alexis took her glasses off so she couldn't see the pain. Nice. Nice. Smart move.
And we were talking about Nistler in that heat, how she's looking down the line, and she was 30 seconds basically ahead of the rest of her heat, which is probably a disadvantage for her there to not have someone that's pushing the pace. I think that the best thing for Collenbrander here would be if Alexis or Roe goes for it early, and even if they can't hang with her to the end, if she has someone that's challenging her a little bit towards the top of the heat, maybe that'll give her the edge that she needs to beat out Nistler's time.
I mean, I just think knowing the time. I don't think you need somebody competitive once you have a time to beat. You just kind of go hard and then you know the time and sprint the end.
I don't know. I always get a little extra push when there's someone there next to me, instead of just a clock.
Nobody did it unbroken. Is that correct?
Not the power cleans. I mean, Nistler's breaks were so short.
They were very efficient.
But she did well, and that's the thing too, is like, it's okay. So if you know you're going to break up, here's the big thing for a lot of athletes to think about, and for coaches too, is it doesn't matter when you break. It matters how many times. It's like, okay, was the 5 worth it if I'm going to break 3 times in the 7, or is 1 and 1 better? Now I have 1 less break. Is me going to like 1 break in the 7 going to make me break 6 times in the 9, right? And so those are the things you need to figure out. And like we said, it all comes with testing these events prior to.
No challenges in that, right? Everything went smooth. No coaching issues.
I didn't see any people get no rep.
Yeah, actually, I didn't see a single no rep too. Brian, did you see any no reps?
Can you challenge another athlete's reps?
No, we had debated that being as a possibility, but no.
What was the question?
If you can challenge another athlete's reps.
I'd be
Oh.
so
we
pissed. if
thought
I was
about
an
making
athlete
that
and
available.
Somebody challenged
That'd be
my
a
rep,
mess.
and then it
Yeah.
got taken away from me.
That would be very anti-community.
Yeah.
But no,
when
there
it's
were no
just you
challenges
versus the
there.
judge, it's fine. But yeah, if you're calling
No
out another
challenges in the
athlete.
first heat, and Andrew actually said that the athletes made it easy on the judging. He was really impressed with the movement quality by all 4 athletes in the first heat.
As we prepare to start here in almost just a little over 30 seconds, you got Samantha on the left in lane 1, Christine Kohlenbrander in lane 2, Rose Scott in lane 3, and then all the way on the farthest side, as you can barely see in the pink top, Alexis Johnson. And 20 seconds till showtime. Sam Petrick. Oh, that's nice. They got their name cards there. It's first I've noticed that.
Even early on here, I'm noticing that there's deliberate movement by the athletes, definitely showing the elbows through and the hips open, not risking any no reps.
All right. Hey, Kohlenbrander is doing exactly what I said, Chase.
Yep.
Pacing the burpees.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then if she's doing that, I guarantee she's going to go unbroken on the weights. There's no way she.
Here we
would do
go.
that if she wasn't.
Rose Scott, as we thought could happen, taking advantage of a little bit shorter range of motion, and she's out to an early lead against this heat.
It'll be interesting to see if she can keep this.
Yeah.
If she's sprinting it, she's just sending it.
Yeah, her burpees
Well, you got
are
it.
good.
I mean, I'm just watching her do burpees. I'm thinking back to her box step overs from the first workout, keeping it low, moving quickly. No, she's been doing this from the start.
Really?
Even in the round of 5, she did this. She's dropping, but she's barely taking her hands off the bar. She's getting it settled on the ground, and she's going again.
I don't think she's losing.
Yeah, I really don't think she's losing much time there at all, but she's definitely saving the grip fatigue and possibly the low back by not having to guide it all the way back down.
Oh, she's crushing it.
Right, but it was in this round right here where Andrea started to slow a little bit in the first heat. This second set of burpees going into the thrusters. So we'll see coming out of these thrusters how she's feeling, and it'll probably be a good indicator of what she has left for the final round of 9.
She's ahead by a lot right now.
Christine still looks good too.
She's moving slowly though. She adjusted her bar twice there instead of just jumping over it.
This is our leader here, Rose Scott, lane 3.
Yeah, and the split time of finishing these burpees from Nistler in round 1 was 2:15. You can see on the clock in the back, she's right around the 1:52 mark here. So she's probably going to have a little bit of a lead going into the final round relative to Andrea's time. Yep,
Dang.
she's about 15 seconds ahead of pace.
Wow.
And she's still going good too. She doesn't look like she's about to blow up.
If we did pull wider, we can see Kohlenbrander has separated from the other 2 athletes in this heat, and her pace is much more on line with where Nistler was at.
Not that one.
Did Nistler break 4 times on the 9, Chase?
Yeah, she went 3, 2, and then singles.
Well, look, Christine looks tired. Look at her.
Yeah.
Is Christine also on? That's her last set of power cleans.
Yes, this is
Correct.
9.
Yeah,
Oh, and
she's
Rose about to finish.
Rose almost.
No, Rose got burpees,
Yeah, she
thrusters,
still got-
and burpees.
Oh,
to
she
go.
broke. She broke.
Dang.
Oh, she's done. She's toast. And these are taking her time singles too. These aren't fast singles.
Rose is definitely slowing her pace here, but it's
Look at Rose.
unclear if it's intentional or not. Here she's not taking any time, right into the start of thrusters. Her breathing still looks pretty good. If she can knock these out, I think this is going to be a really difficult time to beat.
Just go 5-4. You got 9 burpees. I would just.
No,
you
you got another heat, man. You got
You got
another
plenty
heat.
of time. If she messes up, if she fails here, it's not worth it.
Z score.
Yeah, come on, dude.
I keep forgetting
This is
about
where you
that.
fight.
Yeah.
Oh,
There it is.
Oh my goodness.
If you would have just broke, you'd have been fine.
Should have listened to John Young.
What she got left?
So that was
Oh,
on
that
the
was
final
our
lap.
last
She's got a
one.
2-second.
Oh
She's
my
2
God.
seconds ahead of
wow.
Nistler's sweat.
Sprint. You got
What was Nistler?
$300.
402, 401?
401.
401, and she had a 2-second lead on Nistler going to these burpees.
401 is the current time to beat. 3:55 on the
This
clock.
is our last one.
3:59, got her by 2 seconds.
Oh, dude, she killed it. Give that girl
Wow.
some props.
Now, as the other athletes are finishing up, they're looking at that 4:27, 4:28, 4:30 mark as the
Dang.
time of the other athletes. So Kohlenbrenner is going to have to send it here to beat that, and I actually think that those 3 times are going to stand against the other 3 athletes in this heat.
This is what I'm afraid of with DeLugos, because you see how Kohlenbrenner kind of looks when she moves. It's just not the same cadence Rose Scott can hold just from being smaller. I feel like Matt's going to be similar.
I think the guys may struggle a bit more in general just because they had so many more muscle ups that they had to go through.
Do you think so? None of them went unbroken, though. You can't tell me none of these guys are going to go unbroken.
It's just a lot of triceps, muscle ups, burpees, power cleans. Those last 9 are going to get gnarly to watch.
Kohlenbrenner finished at 4:37, so that was actually behind all 4 times from the first heat.
Wow.
We're at the 5-minute mark here. Alexis Johnson is just starting her last set of burpees, and Sam Petrick is about a rep or 2 behind her, struggling with the thrusters a little bit.
Man,
What's the time cap?
7-minute time cap, so they'll definitely finish here. I think Johnson's on her last rep. Yep, 5:16, she's in, and Sam Petrick just has a few burpees to go. 5 left to finish out her workout.
that was fun to watch, though, from Roe.
Yeah, that was awesome.
She fully went for it.
I mean, you might as well. These are the times to test things like this.
Yeah, I mean, John, you were definitely on the money there that it was a risk, but I think it was okay the way she went for it. It was the last rep. She almost got it. It definitely cost her 20 seconds, but she still has the time to beat going into the last heat.
Thank you, JR.
Is that true? Do you guys agree with JR that the women's weight should have been a little bit heavier to be comparable to the men's, or the men should have been lighter?
After watching them go, absolutely not.
No, this is usually the weight you pick with 165 and 115. That's pretty standard. Sometimes you'll see it'll even a little bit lighter, but I think what JR is referring to is that traditionally, we've both said this before, is that women are getting so freaking good and so strong and can cycle barbell so well that, taking that weight up even a little bit to feel like it does for the men is probably what he's referring to.
Well, if you go back and look at prior competitions in the games, women routinely beat the men's barbell times from the same workout, like double DT or heavy DT. Any barbell cycling workout, women usually their times are faster.
Mm-hmm.
The carnage is real.
Yeah, this one is.
Sevan, I got a special guest for this next heat. I'm going to pass the mic over to him now.
All right.
I was getting the headset.
Who do you think it is? There he is. Jorge, what's up, brother?
How's it going?
Good to have you on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys.
Are you chomping at the bit, staring, watching?
Honestly, this is I was talking to Karen. This is the first time that I'm sitting back and actually able to relax mentally. So I'm not itching to go compete. I'm finally like, hey, look, relax after that, or competing at Rogue.
Hey, when you look at that workout that just happened, do you see something? Do you know right away when you just look at it on paper, like, oh, that's bad? Because these ladies look hurt.
Yeah. So the biggest takeaway for me was how cold it is in here. So that's going to attack just the central nervous system, right? You're going to feel that Fran lung really early, and then going lactic right away. So it's just really hard to breathe through the whole workout. So it's just trying to manage that, big deep breaths at the beginning.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. So I guess that's what Nisler was talking about. Nisler was saying it was like having a handful of pennies in her mouth, and that's contributed to breathing in a lot of cold air.
Yes, exactly. Like that blood tasty feeling. So
what is the temp in there? Do you know? Is it 60?
Honestly, I don't know. I'd say around 60, maybe a little bit colder. It was, I'd say like 49 all morning long.
Outside it's been 49?
Yeah, it was cold this morning. So.
Oh shit! What is the weather in Vegas? Look that up.
I wonder if that'll affect the snatch totals tomorrow, if it's really cold.
I know they'll have to warm up a little bit more than usual.
You know what I mean? Like on a cold day, I'm not snatching as much as I am on a warm day.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's because you snatch too much. That's why. I'm perfectly fine.
Well, Jorge related to me, so that should tell you something. So.
We have one more heat to go. What's interesting about this last heat is we had the winner, but then also the 3 worst times, correct?
On this last one?
Close
Yeah,
to,
which kind
yeah.
of goes
Yeah.
a little bit against the conventional wisdom. You think if you're with the fastest athlete, then the rest of the group would go faster. But what we had was we had the fastest athlete in this last heat, who was Rose Scott, correct? And then the other 3 ladies finished even
Yeah.
slower than the first heat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about the weights, Jorge? You think do you like the weights 165 and 115 in 2 aspects? Are they comparable? Are they the appropriate weights? If the women are going to do 115, the men should do 165?
Yeah, I think so. It's a little on the heavier side, which I love. I mean, it's favor me. But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit more of a grind with it being so little reps. You obviously want to pull the bar down faster, but with a weight like that, you have to manage it as well.
What we saw we thought was a smart game plan. We all watched Christine Kohlenbrander come out and sort of pace the burpees, and we all thought that was wise. But it actually didn't pay off. She's still fatigued, and Rose Scott just sprinted.
Yeah. I mean, for this workout, with it being so little reps, I think it's just you got to grind out at a faster pace. You're going to feel tired just as much as going slower on the burpees. So it's pretty much just grip it, rip it, and try to hold on as long as you can.
So if you're an elite athlete and you want to be games competitor, you got to sprint this. This is a sprint event.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And then the last 9, you have to go. You can't let go of that barbell. You got to hold on the entire time, no matter how hard or how much it hurts. Just go till failure and hold on.
Can anyone tell me who the athletes are, starting with Alex Gazan here in the purple? Who's next to her?
I think it's Weiss.
Yeah. Okay, so I could tell you. So Gazan, we got Brittany Weiss, we got Kyra Milligan, and then Devin to her right.
Kyra Milligan and then Devin Kim.
Yes.
In the far lane. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how
Dev,
Devin will handle this weight, but if she
pull that bar down.
is comfortable with this will be a good one for her.
Yeah, she loves this style workout, and the weight will help her a little bit. She loves that heavy weight.
Jorge, you told Devin Kim pull that bar down. I'm assuming you're talking about the thrusters.
Yes.
And they were earlier. One of the guys was saying that this is going to be a problem for DeLugos because they think his thrusters are slow. He doesn't have a fast squatting. Is that the same cue you give to him? Pull the bar down.
Yeah, for him, and that's honestly like the cue I'd give Brittany. She's a longer athlete, so it's kind of like a sticky point at the top. The faster you can pull that bar down, the faster that squat will be, just because she has to go so far down. But yes, I'd give Matt that same cue.
For us mortals, we don't even understand what that means. Pull the bar down.
Just pull it as hard as you can and bounce out of that squat.
Pull the bar down, then it'll knock me over.
Okay, the first 2 both look like they're going at the same speed that Roe was coming out of the gate.
So they know.
Yeah,
I mean,
they know they got to go. Yeah.
Dang.
Devin and I believe Kyra. Is Kyra the one next to Devin?
Yeah.
Yes. Kyra right next to Devin, yeah.
Okay, so Devin's making a play for it. It's just whether she can hold on now.
Yes, 100%.
But these are
And
still
she knows-
step-up burpees.
She knows, or Devin knows, that this rep scheme is good for her. So even more, that gives her that mindset to grip and rip and go as fast as she can. Not try to pace it too much.
Back to Devin Kim.
After this second round, it was 215 for Nisler, and for Rowe it was, what was it, 159?
I think you're right. 159, 158. Yeah. I think you're right. It looks like Devin's going to be ahead of Rowe.
I don't know. It'll be close.
Oh, it's after this round.
Yeah.
Okay, so our leader is on the far end, on the far right. If you're looking at the screen, she's the only one doing thrusters, and that's Devin Kim. And what we're seeing is that if she finishes her burpees at around the 2-minute mark, she will be at pace for the leader Rose Scott had.
Dude, they're ahead of Christine. The two girls thrustering right now.
Yeah, they came out hot. Hopefully they can hold on to it.
Devin's holding on to it.
Gazan's hanging in there.
Yeah.
Her thrusters look pretty good.
Yeah.
So now Devin's a couple seconds behind Rose Scott, but about 10 seconds still ahead of Andrea Nistler's split.
Ooh.
And
yeah, I figured that was coming.
you saw the hard hinge.
Yeah, I saw the hard hit.
Good, come on.
But it's good. She's keeping her hands on the
Hey.
on the bar.
Has Alex broke? If Alex isn't breaking, she's gonna catch her right now.
It did look like Alex did break.
Yeah, she's going singles
she's
as well.
Okay, Devin's ahead. She's on burpees.
We got Alex Gazan on the left, Brittany Weiss next to her. In lane 3, we have Kyra Milligan. And then finally on lane 4, we have Devin Kim on the far right. She is our leader. I'll get you a shot of her. Oh, it looks like there was an error on Gazan's part, like her bar rolled away from her and she had to take a couple seconds pulling it back.
I can't see what's
Yeah, they have like yellow lines across the floor, and they have to keep the barbell in between.
I like that.
All right, Devin's on thrusters. I think Rose got it, but
Rose time was 4:01.
3:59. Oh,
but she did fail thruster.
yeah, exactly.
So Devin is going for it. If this camera
she
could
looks
pan over
good.
just a little to the left, we could see the clock
She's
simultaneously.
gonna be fine.
Oh, she looks great.
Yeah, she looks
She's
much
good.
better.
She's good. Oh,
There
not
we
that
go.
much.
Oh, not that much.
We still need to see her. We
Kazan just had a
There we go.
misrep.
350, 351.
Yeah, you can see the clock in the back, right?
53, 5.
Rose got it.
Yeah.
We're at the
There we
She
4
should
go.
be third, right? She should be third.
Yeah. So Nistler's
420.
Oh,
is
Devin's going to be
exactly-
hurt.
And
Job.
Woo!
dang.
Wow.
There you go.
She's on her feet, though. Devin's still on her feet.
Yeah, see there you can see that she's a little bit more seasoned, so she understands that she has to just hold on and fight it for those 4 minutes. Great job.
Yeah, good job, Devin.
Kazan might have a top 5. I mean, she finished what, round
Right around
4?
Christine.
Yeah.
And Weiss and Milligan are finishing up their last set of burpees.
It doesn't matter,
Yes.
Chase. It's Z-score.
Oh yeah, gosh darn it.
It doesn't matter. It's hard to keep track like that, isn't it? Like I do that math all the time too.
Dev.
Look, Devin Kim's walking around. Dang.
That's so defeating whenever the winner of the workout just comes and says good job to you when you're
Yes.
when you've lost
that
5
is-
minutes.
Tells you your time.
And you go, you did great.
Yeah, here's your
Yeah.
time. I got it for you.
Great job, Dev.
Hopefully Tyler Watkins will pop on here soon, and we'll get to see some of the scores. Check out the leaderboard.
All right, guys, I am signing off.
Thanks, brother.
All right.
Thanks for joining us. It was great
Later,
seeing you,
Thanks.
Jorge.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you, guys.
coming on.
Good to see you. Awesome. That was great.
Carnage.
All right, Savon, I got to go get my daughter.
Doing that.
You the man. Thanks, brother, for joining us, Chase. You
Appreciate
the
it.
man.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Really,
Chase.
really appreciate
No,
it,
that
dude.
was awesome. Thanks.
Yep.
Later.
Bye.
How'd Jorge do?
Chase Ingram, ladies and gentlemen. Jorge Fernandez. And only one man can replace 2 men, and his name is Brian.
God. That's a lot of pressure, man. Those are some big boys too.
We have a photographer with a mohawk.
Hey, he's all over the place. That guy, Eric Imam Photo. 7, can you hear me?
He's got no plan B. Yeah, I can. Sorry. I can.
Oh,
I
okay,
can.
okay.
I can. I should have acknowledged you.
How did Jorge do there?
He was
He did
great.
great.
It always makes me nervous when you bring people in like him or Justin Collar. They both killed it. Oh, what's the commentator's name? I keep forgetting her name. What's her name?
Bella Martin.
Bella Martin.
Yep.
All righty. Hey, when she does those interviews, can the people there in house hear them? It's like loud over the whole
I
system.
think so. I think so. Yeah. These headphones are remarkable at canceling out the noise, but I'm pretty sure they can because her mic is going to the house.
Yeah, your microphone. That microphone is amazing.
It is.
Because it's loud as shit there, I'm assuming. What happened to your video, John?
Give me a second.
Oh, little perusing Bella Martin's Instagram account. The only one, Miss Bella Martin. Be our MC for the live event in Las Vegas this weekend. This showcase style event will feature 12 men, 12 women athletes who will be doing all 4 Zelos Games workouts for a live audience Saturday, November 12th and 13th. Wow, we have to do this again tomorrow?
We get to do it again tomorrow.
I mean, we get to.
So that was, as obviously there's scores will be coming in officially. Not sure if there were any challenges or not, but as we talked about, there was a chance for an athlete who had a fairly bad showing in workout 1, Rose Scott, to come back, bounce back, and even with risking it there at the end, take the event win, and that's gonna shake things up. On the flip side, we had Christine Kohlenbrander, great workout this morning, 3rd place, and she was in the bottom half of the women here, I believe. So there'll definitely be some changes on the leaderboard after just this one extra event.
Now, I have a question. Real quick. Brian, do you think, and I don't know if we can get Tyler to do this, but if we could make it where Rose did not miss that final thruster and her time would have been 3:40, even though she took last in the last event or second to last, would she have been in running for a podium after this event?
I mean, we can simulate that in the scoring very easily. We can just change her time after all the times are in and see what difference it would make. So if we get him on later today or tomorrow morning, we can ask him and possibly mess around with that.
Because that 3:40 would have been a huge.
Well, that's it. That's exactly right. And so, for her, getting the 100 points is getting the 100 points. But those extra 15 seconds would push everyone else's points down, and obviously have an impact on the rest of the
where second place is getting like 70 points.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. So when we get Tyler back, we can ask him.
Vendor Village. Someone's doing a little workout there on the side.
That's Tudor.
Oh, just warming up.
Are you surprised we didn't see anybody go unbroken?
Actually watching that, and I think I'm not sure if you guys talked about it or not.
Rose the closest one.
Yeah, but that drop and go and reset, I think Devin Kim basically adopted that. I'm not sure if she would have done it otherwise in the final heat, and then those end up being 2 of the heat wins using that technique. If the guys learned anything from that, I mean, it's a very intimate setting here. There's the men are watching the women and they're learning from them. So we talk about having the advantage of going last relative to your sex of competition, but the men getting to go after the women have already learned a lot from watching them. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of the guys try to implement that and maybe weren't thinking that when they woke up this morning.
I'm subscribed. Can you guys see me? No. Tom Guerin. Tom, DeLugo's going to surprise people top 5. I don't think it's going to be a surprise, but I also don't think top 5 is in this event is the same as like a regular top 5, right? Here top 2 is like it's top 2 or
yeah, he's just fit enough that he should be top 5. Like when we say it's going to hurt him, he's not going to be 8th or 9th. I mean, like, he might be fitter than 3 people ahead of him, but he's still going to be 4th, 5th, or 6th place in this event, just because he's fitter than most of them.
Hey, that dude right there, that's Dennis right there with the dye blonde hair.
No,
is that him?
No, that's not Dennis.
Oh, okay.
It looks like he's got
Where? Oh, in the pink shorts?
Yeah, that's Dennis over there.
Okay, he's the guy with the monster back, right? His back is huge. He's got a jacket on.
Ridiculous. He's jacked.
Yeah, crazy. Okay, Tyler, shall we look at the well, we have a minute here. Maybe look at a score sheet. Mr. Tyler Watkins.
James Sprague, sponsored by Yerbay.
Tyler, are you muted?
Watkins. Not muted. Muted.
Can he hear us?
I don't know if he can. If you send me
just one thing worth pointing out here, Savan, we talked about with Rose Scott there, there can be athletes that were in the bottom third of the first workout that can have obviously a major influence on this one. And in general, we talk in the men's field that there's just more depth across the board. There's more people that have been trying to compete at a high level. And so some of these guys, John talked about Jack Rosema, but you never know with a guy like Helbig, Mason, that I want to put it outside the realm of possibility for 2 or 3 guys, even a Mitch McClune, to potentially have a time that's inside the top, 6 or 7. And therefore punish one of these guys that was at the top of the first workout if they happen to slip up here.
Helbig's going to send it.
Well, we'll see.
Hey, is that Mitch McClune? Is that Mitch McClune in this heat right here?
No. So this heat is going to have Pete Mason. He's the guy with the blonde hair you were asking about. Ethan Helbig will be next to him. James Sprague will be in lane 3. And then lane 4 is going to be Jack Rosema.
Oh yeah.
And Jack's the guy that John is projecting has a chance here to maybe set a pretty fast time. He has a very similar build to row relative to the guys or the women, the men, really powerful athletes. As long as he doesn't blow up, he should set I think I'm with John that he'll set a pretty competitive time.
This is this guy right here, Ethan Helbig.
That's the one who sends it every time.
Yeah, and that's the one that you think could be.
No. I think I'm talking about the guy in the orange shorts.
Oh,
yep,
okay.
Right there. That's
Jack. Okay, Jack. Okay. That's Jack Rosema in the red shorts, as we were just talking about. I'll try to tell you who everyone is. Show off that I learned something.
It is, and Jack Rosema. I mean, he had for a relatively unknown guy. He had a pretty good season last year in terms of quarterfinal, semifinal performance. We talked about him in the build-up that he's got some power behind him, and this is a power output workout. Well, you can certainly screw it up, but if he has the right approach, he'll be relevant here.
And the giant standing next to Jack, that is James Sprague. Wow, when you see them next to each other, you really realize how big James is. He really is big.
6'2", 215.
He's going to look like Tom Selleck. And he's fist bumping right there, Ethan Helbig. That's the guy who set that insane record on the assault bike, 100 calories. Oh, look at James waving away the camera. Dickhead.
Hey, we're like twinsies now, Sevon. You see that? He waved me out of the way.
Yeah.
I think Ethan has a chance to be good at this workout. If he does not, it just depends if he can hold on to it, because Ethan's very powerful too.
And then over there with the dyed blonde hair is Pete Mason. Let's see if he waves Souza away. No.
And I just got to tell you, I'm standing here basically in front of James Sprague's lane, and there's an intensity on his face right now that is, honestly, it's kind of intimidating. So
I know. He's kind of like Brent Fikowski within that fact. If it's something that he shouldn't just murder, like Brent Fikowski is hilarious if he looks like on a sprint or something. He gets real serious.
So basically that's when he waved Souza away, Souza felt that. He got a little scared.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, even from the start of that workout, he was timing it out to the perfect second to touch the barbell right as the goal was being said.
They're all off. They all put the bar down about the same time.
They all look like they're pacing it except Peter Mason.
Yeah, Pete's definitely being the most aggressive here early on. If we learn anything from the women, most likely that won't pay off. But we also remember that he had some aggressive parts of the first workout this morning. So, maybe 3 and 4 minutes is a time domain he feels he can last at this pace for. Looking across the field, the breathing looks very rhythmic from the other 3 guys relative to him. I think they'll probably chase him down.
It paid off for Rose Scott.
It paid off for her going out early. Yeah, this is and we saw some others that kind of faded hard, even though they weren't as far in a lead as her. Sola Sigurdardottir, I talked to her, and she said she actually improved on her time from training, but she still felt like she really fell off the pace she wanted early.
I wonder if they've tested this, because they're both going singles on 7s.
God,
Sprague,
Mason's going for it, dude.
Sprague and Jack.
Well, and Helbig was able to hold on there, and he caught Pete on that round, whereas James is falling behind a little bit here.
He already looks like he's dragging ass a little bit, Ethan.
Ethan, he's making the biggest move currently. He was the only one that was able to hold on for all 7 power cleans in that round, and he's just a half rep behind Pete going into the thrusters here. The other guys are about 2 reps behind.
He's on is this the set of 7s or 9s?
This is the set of 7.
This camera needs to pan to the right just a little bit. Whoever's camera this is, Schmidt. Nice.
So Pete has a 6 thruster lead here over both James and Jack, and Helbig's kind of right in the middle, 3 reps behind Pete, 3 reps ahead of the other 2 guys. Again, though, just keep an eye on the burpee technique and pacing. You see Pete is taking this little break, presses the chest off the ground. It could be calculated. This is where they really have to set themselves up and make sure that they can hit this last round with the cadence that they want. It might be singles across. I think you're more likely to see sets of 3 to 5 followed by singles.
Pete Mason is pretty much at the exact pace that Andrea Nisler was at, I believe.
Yep, he was getting to this round at about the 2:15 mark, and he did just as expected. 5 reps to go. He's not dropping the singles, though. He's showing some great capacity here. 2 sets to get through those cleans. And if he can hold on to 1 set of thrusters, he's going to be the one that sets a pretty aggressive time to beat.
Yeah, if he doesn't break on his thrusters, he looks awesome.
For the rest of the athletes in this heat, they can't worry about Pete. You have to remember this is heat 1 of 3, and that keeping as close to the pack as possible is beneficial.
Hey,
So
Helbig's
Jack
moving faster. Helbig's catching him.
Yeah, Pete is wounded.
He's blow up zone. He's done.
Yeah. He's doing that Sam Briggs, like open your mouth and gasp for air, fish out of water shit.
All right, if I were him, I would take like 5 seconds right now.
3:15 on the clock now. We know 4 minutes.
Hey,
is an
rest
exceptional time
longer.
on this
Rest
workout.
longer.
He can't hear you.
Right
These
with
9 thrusters.
Oh, I don't know if he got depth on that. Oh, no.
What are you looking at, Sella?
I don't know if he's getting depth on those first couple. Now he's got depth.
Told you, man. Blow up zone. Went
If
too
he doesn't
hard.
break, if he doesn't break, he's fine.
Yeah.
So Helbig took a little longer there on the far side of the floor. Jack Rosema has actually closed the gap a little bit to Helbig. So Pete's in the lead here. He's not going to make 4 minutes. Probably looking about 4:10.
Go, Jack.
Go, Pete. Okay, Ethan Helbig in
Rosema
second place.
Pete's got
Goes
it.
only
my
by 1
God.
rep ahead of Jack Rosema. They're now even here.
Sprague
Oh.
put hands on his
Oh, we
knees.
got a
Come
race
on,
here.
bro.
Oh, we got a race. Yeah, Jack and Ethan.
4:08 for Mason, top time so far.
Wow, good job. James Sprague's caught up nicely. Incredible.
4:21 Rosema, 4:22 Helbig.
Dang, Pete Mason kills them.
Yeah. He's savage.
4:30 for Sprague. So pretty tight spread there. 4:08 for Mason, 4:30 for Sprague. Only 22 seconds between these 4 guys. And we have to check the judges' score because Helbig and Rosema were within 1 second of each other.
22 seconds is huge, though. Huge. That killed Sprague.
It could be huge. What we saw in the first heat for the women, we had that 4:01. We had 3 times right around 4:30, and then we had several times that were closer or beyond 5 minutes in the second and third heat. So it's not a workout where we necessarily know for sure if this 4:30 is going to be last or middle of the pack.
Ryan,
You're
are we
looking at Pete
relying-
Mason, Ethan Helbig, and then over in the red shorts, Jack Rosema, and then James Sprague on his side there. That's your winner.
What were you saying, Tyler?
Are we relying on hand timers for milliseconds?
They're checking the scores on the floor right now. They are looking at the stopwatches for those 2 heats. I'll check with Hiller and find out.
I mean, they've been great with video replay, though. You can clearly see one was ahead of the other just by looking at a replay. I feel like Hiller will just defer to that as far as times go.
Just resetting up the floor again, pulling back the weights. That weight is 165 on the bar. The second heat will be coming out soon. There are 11 male competitors. There were supposed to be 12. We have 1 no-show. This next heat will only have 3 athletes in it, if I'm correct.
Confirmation from the scoring team. They did get Rosema 1 second ahead of Helbig, which is what we saw in real time. So it seems like that is correct, as it should be. John, coming into this second heat, we do have Matt DeLugos here. We just saw James Sprague, obviously the tallest athlete in his heat, finish at the back of the pack. Do you think this is problematic and a bad sign for Matt?
No, they're different people. Matt is strong and James is not. It's very simple.
We'll see. I think Mitch. This is one of the workouts that Mitch McClune has tested. However, when he tested it, it was of the 9 5.75 variety, and has since been switched to 5.79. And of course, we have Tola in this heat also. You think
If
Tola's
I'm
gonna be able
Matt-
to take down that time from Pete Mason?
I do. I just don't see how Tola does not go unbroken. If he does it, then I'm going to do this workout and I'm going to try to do it unbroken because I don't understand why this is so hard for them.
Well, it's one of these things where, like I remember I once had a goal to do Jackie unbroken. So I wanted to get the 50 thrusters and the 30 pull-ups. And in order for me to be able to do that, I had to take like a 45-second break before going to the pull-up bar. So maybe it's not my optimal time. And maybe they have a similar situation here where if they want to go unbroken, they can, but it might not yield the fastest time on the competition floor.
We're seeing that's Mitch McClune, right? There in the gray shirt.
He's got the belt on. Yep, Tola's kind of pacing there behind him.
Taking some deep breaths.
If I'm Tola, I go unbroken. I pace the burpees hard, and then on the round of 9, I just sprint.
If you were coaching Matt or James Sprague, where would you say, like, I would be happy if you finished here in these athletes? Like, because they're so big, they have so much ground to cover. Their thrusters are so much longer. Like, you got to set expectations.
I think it's just to do your best scenario. I mean, just optimize the workout to your best ability and don't worry about anybody else. All you can do is your best. And if you pace it out to your best ability, that's all you can do. You can't worry about other people.
Yeah, I think that's right. And, this if Tola is in fact able to kind of send it here, then you have to look at, if you're DeLugos and you're Mitch McClune and you kind of have a little bit of an idea of where those other guys, the James Spragues, were finishing in the 430s, those two guys right around 420. You can keep that stuff in mind too. If Tola gets out ahead, don't worry about him. Stay in your lane, run your race, and then send it really hard on the last round of burpees.
Tyler, do we have the women's scores yet?
Yeah, they're ready to go.
Okay.
I just think for Z-score, it's especially important for you to optimize your performance and not game other people's scores. I feel like you cannot do that with Z-score. So every workout,
No, that's true.
Be your
yeah,
best.
That's true. It's just like from a coaching aspect, I always think about like, let's set expectations here. Let's get you as good as you can be. Athletes are never going to be happy unless they're in the top 3. So it's like, hey, you can't, like, James, you're 8 feet tall. You're not going to be first. So it's like, okay, if you get top 5, that's amazing. Walk away happy. You know what I mean?
Is this what I want to be sharing?
Do you want the women's?
No, this is the men's. Go to the women's
That's
tab.
men's. On the bottom. Yeah, there you go. So I have it sorted for event 2 right now.
Is there a
can
total?
Can we sort it by place?
Yeah,
Overall?
Overall, yeah.
Andrea Nisler, after 2 events, is in first place. She'll go tomorrow. She'll start tomorrow, event number 3, in first place with 198 points. In second place, Alex Gazan, 171 points. Third place, Devin Kim, jumping up the leaderboard to third
she
place.
passed 3 people there. Third place on that workout. And she moved from 6th, I think 5th or 6th, up to 3rd here. But it's a fairly small gap, only 6 points over Cole and Brander. And the biggest movers were really Ellen Buds and Rose Scott.
Okay, let's do something fancy here real quick before the men start. Tyler, Brian, how many seconds did Rose Scott lose when she missed that thruster?
Well, we'll call it. Let's call it
340.
17. Yeah,
17 seconds.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can you take off 17 seconds, Tyler, in real time from her score and get her down to 3:42 for event 2? 3 minutes 42 seconds.
3:42.
Yes.
Go to the test W tab.
Oh, I can't do this stuff, buddy.
No,
I'm not capable. I'm not
Just switch
capable of this.
tabs.
Just
see
go to
where
the bottom
women's
and
tab
click.
is?
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So there you go. That's what it would be. Let me click her. Whoops.
Savon, stop clicking buttons.
I ain't touching nothing. I ain't touching.
That's what it would be. She would go to 6th as opposed to 7th.
But what is
she would have?
Yeah,
she would have gotten.
Well, what
10
really what it does
points.
is it affects everyone else this time.
Right.
Their scores in that workout.
She would have gotten
So
10
in this
points
model, we
versus
see
2.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm looking at third place. Third place would have lost, what, 19?
Yeah,
And then-
81.
And then Kristen
Yeah,
Kohlenblander would have gotten 60 points.
Sorry, boys. It's almost showtime.
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
All right, let's go, Matt.
Very cool to see the leaderboard move around like that.
So far, Matt is in the lead. Maybe the only time it'll happen.
Rep for rep, rep for rep.
And this is, I think, this is what we want to see from Tola. The movement here on the burpees looks very deliberate, not wasting any energy, not letting the heart rate get out of control. I would say that even though DeLugos is a half step ahead of him, and McClune's actually ahead of both of them, that Tola's pacing here is more where what you want to see.
Tola's the guy closest to us with the pink on. The giant in the middle is Matty DeLugos, and the guy furthest from us in this shot is Mitch McClune.
That's impressive. Matt's burpee's way faster.
Then who?
Tola's. His form's just better,
Tola's going slow, and he needs to. If Tola wanted to push his pace, he could.
Tola did lose kind of his burpees a little bit there. I think he was already thinking in his mind that he was on the round of 7. Then that might cost him a second or two.
Dude, if I'm Matt, just don't break. Go as slow as you want. You win this if you don't break.
This is the point of the workout right here. These 7 burpees into the 7 thrusters with athletes are really starting to feel it. Talking to a couple of the women, this is where you have to decide how bad you want it and just accept that the pain's going to be there the rest of the way.
Tola's burpees are faster now.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. I think he was confused and was like just doing burpees.
Do we have the time split on the 7 round of 7 for
Yep. We got it here. So we'll get to it after this next burpees. But basically DeLugos has like a 1 or 2 rep lead on the other 2 guys, and we're really tight at approaching the end of this set of thrusters.
Those thrusters look hard.
We have no one who's at a winning pace time at this point.
We don't know that. The last round is really where it can matter. But I'm just watching Tola. He's moving even slower now on the burpees.
He's tired.
Yeah.
But Pete Mason,
purpose or out of necessity.
Brian, Pete Mason finished these burpees at about 2:14, 2:13, I think.
Correct. So we're just looking for the first guy to finish, and it looks like they're about 20 seconds. McClune, there comes Lugos, there comes Tola, so they're all within 20 to 23 seconds behind. But singles
They're
off
all
the bat.
going singles now.
Not Tola. Tola's cycling. He did 3 to start, but it hasn't really gained him any edge. They're still all at the same, going rep for rep here.
Look, as easy as that is, just do 9. What are you like? Just go. Like
3 minutes on the clock. And Tola's sets of 3 here have paid off. He's passed both those guys on the set of power cleans.
Is he just flailing and trying anything at this point? That's wild.
Who?
Tola. Like, dude, he was doing singles, and then he does some 3s, and then his burpees are slow.
He's winning, though. He's pacing. He's pacing.
So I
still
think
a big
that,
guy.
yes, he's definitely tired, but he has to be just setting himself up here. If he can do the 9 thrusters unbroken, everyone has shown that they can send the last 9 burpees.
What was Pete Mason's time?
Pete Mason's time was 4:08. That time is definitely safe. The problem is that the other times, 4:20 and 4:21, and even that 4:30 from Sprague are starting to look better and better. At this point, I don't think any of these 3 are going to beat even the worst time from the first heat. We got 4 minutes on the clock.
That makes that 4:08 even more huge, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's already in the bank here, and they're still chipping away on thrusters. DeLugos hasn't even picked up his bar. And as they're getting ready,
what just happened?
So
Oh my goodness!
Is gone. 4:21 is gone. The top 3 times from Heat 1 have already finished, and it actually looks like all 4 of those times from Heat 1 are going to be in the bank before any of these guys have even done a burpee. And Mitch is getting to the burpees at the same time as Tola, and now it's a race. And this is what I was talking about.
Oh, Tola's flying.
In the tank to send these. Yes,
Well,
but it's a
failed
little
a
too
thruster,
late
he
for him
better
in
be
terms
flying.
of Heat 1. He just needs to make sure to beat Mitch and salvage anything he can. 446.
Oh,
or
he's
7.
wounded. Oh, he's wounded.
And I actually think this is a great performance by Mitch McClune. 454 going up the ladder. His testing time was 507 going down the ladder. So great workout for Mitch right there. And
This
DeLucas
might
closed
negate
out
that
at
snatch
505.
workout. Yeah, I think Sprague's going to
This
win the Zelos games then.
So
Wow.
this is this is what we were talking about. While Sprague looked like he was
No, I think it's
gonna pay the
over. I
price.
think you can call it.
Hold on, John. Hold on. Go ahead, Brian. Hold on, John. John's
Well,
getting all
while it
excited. He
looked
got
like-
a new winner.
Well, it looked like Sprague was going to pay the price last in that heat. We have to recognize that the same thing just happened as we saw at the women, where anyone can do well on this workout, and times that you think are bad after one heat suddenly start to look pretty good 2 heats in. Right now they have 420 and 421 from Helbig and Rosema. I mean, that's factoring in. If they finish second and third on this workout, being almost last in workout 1, this whole leaderboard is going to be thrown into chaos. And to John's point, that sets up really well for someone like James Sprague, who's coming into this event with the overall lead.
I love the way John started that sentence. It's all over. Tell us, John, what happened? What did we just witness?
Well, I mean, we were thinking that this would be damage control for James, and we thought Tola and DeLugos would murder this one just because they are the strongest people. This seems like a strength workout, and it's a strength sprinty workout. They've shown in quarterfinals that they can both be winners of the entire world in that type of a workout, and they both were almost last. Like right now, they're 5th out of 6th and 6th out of 6th. As far as guys who have done it, or 7th out of 8th, however it is.
What do you think happened, John? It wasn't heavy enough to benefit them, or that they didn't have big enough engines?
Probably both.
Both.
Obviously, I mean, James is not very strong. I'm sorry, James. And Tola is very strong. So for James to beat him by 30 seconds, almost 30 seconds, it wasn't heavy enough to benefit Tola.
Brian, what's McClune got to say?
McClune said that he was extremely motivated by Taylor Self, who immediately called him out as the one man who would definitely break on this workout. And so he wanted to go and try to go unbroken. However, once he was in the workout and after watching the women, he realized that that was a foolish thing to do, and he would just play it by how he's feeling in the workout. He did go unbroken in the 975 version in practice, but even that, like I said, was in fact slower than his time here. So exactly what we talked about in the lead up to that heat. Even if you can go unbroken, it might not be the strategy that yields the fastest time for each athlete. And I think in the case of Mitch, that's exactly what he was saying.
Okay. Does anyone here need to take a bathroom break? Good.
Sounds like you do.
I do, for sure I do. Feel free to tap into Souza there. Ask him any questions. He's there on the floor. The floor is yours for 90 seconds.
Yeah, we got it.
Ryan,
so
I like the programming now a lot more, seeing that this is your engine comes into play much more than we originally thought on this workout, because the snatch event alone was going to offset the whole entire thing if this was strength-based that the top 3 people came from. And now it's not.
Yeah. No, and I think back to, I know that I think it was either maybe Chase that was talking about Chris Hinshaw earlier in the build-up to this. But, Chris talks about that. If it's under 3 minutes, it's a sprint. If it's over 3 minutes, there is still an element of pacing that athletes have to consider and factor into their game plan. We're seeing here that this is a 4 to 5 minute workout for almost everyone, and therefore it is a trap, and you can fall into the trap. Now we're coming into the last heat of men. As we see here, we have Logan Ewing currently sitting in second place overall. Having seen what just happened with guys like Tola and DeLugos take a hit there, knowing that Sprague has already sacrificed 3 positions to guys from his heat, how much do you think this is benefiting Logan to have all of this information he's going onto the floor? Or is it more information than he wants when maybe you don't want to think too much on this one?
I mean, if the people that you're competing with are all sucking, I think that's good information. You know what I mean? Like, if his goal is the podium and he beats them in this workout, in a workout that we previously thought he wasn't going to, I mean, I think he feels great. I think he just goes out and does his best, and no matter what happens, I think he's happy. He's happier knowing the information that he now knows.
Yeah, and this is cool. I mean, when we were previewing this competition overall, this was the workout I picked out that Logan may do very well on, and he actually posted about it on Instagram, saying that he was motivated by us favoring him on this one. Having such a great start this morning, I think he's got to be coming in here with a lot of confidence. I think it's also just a really good heat for him. You know, Leonel Franco, as we know, has the potential to go out hot here. And then we have Tudor Magda, who actually closed pretty well on the last workout. So I think that there'll be a pretty competitive heat. And I have a feeling that either Tudor or Logan is really going to capitalize here and be challenging James for the overall lead when things are said and done with this workout.
Which is only great for them entering the snatch workout, because all of them are going to take hits on that.
Well, I don't know about Tudor. I think he might be able to
But
hold
not
his
Tudor.
own. But
Yeah, not Tudor.
90 seconds to go here. Just looking out at the floor. The athletes, all four of them, look pretty composed compared to the heats earlier, where there was a lot of intensity. And I think that might be a good thing if you can just kind of come into this workout relaxed. At this point, we know that this is not a round one workout. Everyone should be fairly similar there. It's really about that transition from the 7s to the 9s. So just managing even the build up to a workout like this, I think is a good strategy for these guys.
Brian, can you tell me the names of the guys starting in lane 4 and go down?
Yep, lane 4 with the Mayhem athlete shirt on there, Logan Ewing. Next to him in the gray, Leonel Franco. In the colorful attire there in the middle, we have Dennis Samsonov. And far end of the floor is Tudor Magda. I think I picked both Tudor and Logan to do well on this workout. Again, they're on the outside lanes, but I'm expecting them. I mean, I'm not really sure what to expect time-wise here, but I think that sub 430, meaning they'll stay in the top 5 overall for this workout, is something that I'm looking for both Tudor and Logan, at least in this heat.
Average is 435, so you're right. Yeah.
Any surprises here? Is there a Pete Mason in this group who's just going to come out with their foot on the pedal and stay there the whole time?
I think Logan Ewing has a chance. What do you think, Brian?
2, 1. Oh, we may get a false start.
Right away, immediately from the start, Logan Ewing is doing the drop and reset method. All the other guys are going to the touch and go. It did cost him 1 rep in this round, but again, the first round is not where this workout is won. You can lose it here. Tudor is setting a pretty good early pace in terms of movement quality, wasted no time getting up on the barbell, and he's got a 1.5 rep lead on the rest of the field starting these thrusters.
And let's not forget that's what Rose Scott used also.
Same for Pete Mason.
Yep. He's 2 burpees ahead here as they're closing out the first round. Just looking across the floor, we saw Leonel Franco go really fast and hard in the beginning of the first workout. That is not true here. He looks incredibly composed and deliberate in his movement. And we'll see what happens at the end of the second round. Right now, Tudor has a commanding lead against this field, but he's already breaking in this round of power cleans.
Big rest, big rest.
Dennis also breaking in the middle of this round, and Tudor onto the burpees with the other guys still having 3 to 5 reps to go.
Calculated break by Tudor, right?
I think by all of them at this point. 3 rep lead on Dennis Samsonov going to the burpees. Leonel Franco 2 reps behind that, and Logan Ewing currently in the back of this heat.
Tudor just got a no rep, had to go back to the correct side of the bar and do the jump again.
Yeah, and we saw this morning that he got 1 no rep as well. I don't necessarily think that's a terrible thing. I mean, obviously it's not optimal on short workouts when the margins are small, but he's competing and he's riding the line. It might cost him a couple points, but he's still looking pretty good at this point.
What do you think about that grip? Wide grip for Tudor Magda?
I'm okay with it. He actually looks like he's getting into better and better positions overhead as the workout goes on with the thrusters. Just trying to see here if any of the guys are able to close on him. Once again, he has a 3 rep lead on Samsonov, so their pacing is very similar. And Franco is still exactly 2 reps behind Dennis, so no one has made any move at this point. The kind of leads that were established have been maintained across the board for these 4 guys as they're getting ready to enter into the last round. Looking at the split time for Pete Mason, Tudor was 4 to 5 seconds behind that, finishing the round of 7. So if he wants to get the overall win, he's going to have to make up a little bit of time in the round of 9.
Another calculated stop by Tudor Magda in first
Samsonov
place.
is going to all singles here.
Oh, I don't know if Samsonov's getting his elbows in front of the bar.
Yeah,
There
those
he
reps
goes.
look sketchy.
he's getting him in front. It's exactly what Taylor was talking about, where it's really small margins of timing between when the elbows are in front and the hips are open. But the judge is giving him the reps, and I think it's okay, and therefore he's not going to change anything. Tudor's on the burpees. We're at the 3-minute mark, so he's got about a minute left if he wants to get beat the time to beat. Leonel Franco has overtaken Samsonov. He's 1 burpee ahead here at this point. And Logan Ewing still in the back for this heat, but not necessarily in a terrible position overall.
But a surprise, right, Brian? We were expecting Logan to possibly to win this, and it's a surprise that now he's not going to win it.
Maybe. I still want to see where his time falls in with the rest of the field. But right now I'm looking at Tudor. He's got 33 seconds to get 18 reps in if he wants to go for the win. So he absolutely has to do this set of thrusters unbroken. Most likely it still won't be enough time because it takes about 22 seconds to do the 9 burpees for most of the athletes. So it looks like Pete Mason's time from Heat 1 is going to stand as the overall winner for the men. If that's the case, then 4:20 and 4:21 are the next 2 times, which is exactly 21 seconds from now. So if he's able to do that, he'll take second in this event, and he could be right up there in the overall lead going into day 2. Yep, Mason's time is in the bank. Every second matters here for Magda, though, as he wants to try to create as much separation as he can. 4:15, second overall on the event. Samsonov and Franco racing on the burpees. 4:20 is in. Helbig and Rosema 3rd and 4th, and now they're chasing James Sprague's time of 4:30. This is massive for Sprague. He's okay. Franco's in at 4:29. Samsonov is not. So that means that Sprague should be 5th or 6th overall, which is definitely still a respectable finish in this workout. Samsonov in at 4:38, and we have Ewing still working on the thrusters.
Beast.
Here he
You're a
goes.
beast, Brian Friend. You're a beast.
4:45 getting to the thrusters. We can expect this finish to be just over 5-minute mark, but again, there's times beyond that. So for Logan, this is still a fight, and we know that at the bottom of the poll, you can lose points quickly in the Z-score model. So every second could be important here for him, especially with scores from DeLugos and Tola down in this region. In at 5:05, so towards the bottom, we'll have to see how it all shakes out for him.
Woo! Woo!
Brian, you sound like a horse commentator.
I couldn't agree more. Johan Lopez, this is what commentating sounds like. Teddy Williams, Brian is on fire. Johan Lopez, let's fucking go. Murph, great call, Brian. Austin Hartman, Brian is crushing. Eric Oliver, yeah, can't do this at the games, but coverage at comps with less competitors, smaller fields. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Disagreed.
Let's test Brian. Let's give him 2 more competitors on the floor and see what he does. I'm up for it. Beyond the Metcon, Brian, do this way more. This is commentating.
Pretty interesting here watching this last heat. Franco and Ewing are still on the floor here. Tudor Magda got up relatively quickly and walked off, looking honestly not that bad relative to the other competitors. So 2nd place and looking pretty good after this. I think he's going to feel really good going into day 2.
Brian, we've seen that from every winner, I think, except for maybe one of the women's fields, but every winner has kind of just shrugged it off.
I think that's, possibly just riding the high of winning your heat. It feels good, especially in a workout like this. Like, no matter how good you think you are or you did in practice, this is a nervy workout, and it's going to hurt, and you're not sure what's going to happen when push comes to shove in the last, burpees and thrusters. So securing that, knowing he had a good finish overall in the workout, even if he is in pain, it can just be a little bit of a stimulus boost for the body and the brain, knowing that you did really well, that allows him to do that.
Will Brandstetter, now would be a good time to step away from your earphones. Lots of great comments for Brian. Gray says, I hope you're paying him Sevon. Gray, that is what your mom is doing. Thank you. Okay, Will, you can come back to the show now. Oh, these people. We were on such a roll with so many good comments. There he is. There's the winner.
All right, Tyler, how quick can you put these in?
This is what did Tudor end up getting overall, Brian? 2nd place, 3rd place?
2nd place. So Mason should have taken this at 4:07 or 4:08. I think his time was 4:15 or 4:16, which would beat Rosema and Helbig, which were 4:20 and 4:21 from that opening heat. So 2nd place here, not that far behind. We're expecting him to get somewhere between 90 and 95 points. And he had, I think, 88 or something in the first workout. So he would probably be your overall leader going into the 2nd day.
Let's see if we can hear Matt Souza's microphone now. Matt, can you unmute yourself? Who is that giant guy on the left, Souza?
His name is Ed Mao, and he's one of Tudor's coaches.
That guy is thick.
Very nice guy. I had a great conversation with him in the back prior to this workout, and he was asking about Z-score as well, just trying to learn more about it.
He's a brute strength guy?
No, I don't think that he's affiliated with any of the major coaching camps. I'm not sure if there's a title for his programming or not, but I know Tudor's been working with him these last couple months.
Souza, were you able to hear any of their conversation? Why was he hanging around the floor so much, just checking out the scene? Souza?
Sorry, I tried to pull you guys off my headphones, but they've been giving me trouble. So I don't know if you guys can hear anything that was said with Tudor. Can you hear me now or no?
We can. Can you get closer so we can hear this conversation?
No, I mean, I can, but for some reason, every time I pull my earbuds out, it stays within them. It doesn't go back to the mic on my phone, which is frustrating because I'll try one more time. Let's see.
Okay.
Savan, I can go and try to give my headset to Tudor if you want to talk to him.
I'd love to. I'd love
Yeah,
to.
it's still not
like
working
that?
for whatever reason.
I would love to talk to Tudor.
Tudor's in first.
I need more payment from Gray's mom then.
Okay, Gray.
He's
Thank
first
you, Gray.
overall, if you
Gray,
let him know that.
team player. You're team player, brother. You're team player.
Tudor did say, though, that he was going to take Taylor's lunch. So there's that.
Taylor Self.
Yeah.
I'm walking.
Here we go. This is what makes us different. Tudor Magda, what's up, brother?
What's up?
Let's stop fooling around and get down to business. When are you coming on the podcast? How come we can't get the great Tudor Magda?
When I'm coming on the podcast. Soon.
Okay,
Soon.
good.
I'll get up.
I'm greedy. I have you now, and all I want is more already.
Thanks.
What was the what was the plan with that workout? It looked like you just put the pedal to the metal like Pete Mason.
Exactly that. Just put the pedal to the metal, and I just try and push the last round. Last round was where the crux of the workout was at, and just get to it and then push it. Try to find a way to go unbroken.
Did you have, as that's happening, as you see those last set of burpees, is there a ton of relief, like, okay, I can do this, or is it still like, oh shit, what's gonna happen?
Relief, because I mean, training, I've done upwards of like 20 plus burpees at the end of a workout to sprint. So just being able to put the hammer down at the end, knowing that I only have 9 reps left in about like not even 30 seconds, 20 seconds of work, it just feels good. So yeah, I'm happy with that.
Did you test this one?
I did not, no. We did a version of it with burpee box jump overs actually, and that was way, way different. So no, definitely not this workout.
When you see a workout like this on paper, do you know that it's going to hurt like this?
Yes, I knew this was going to be the hardest workout of the weekend. Absolutely.
How about the weight of 165? Did you like that, or would you like it to have been a little bit heavier to maybe give someone as strong as you some separation from the other guys?
It's a hard question because I was falling off of the power cleans a little bit, meaning like my pace kind of slowed. So if it was a little heavier, I would have probably had to break up the last set of thrusters too. So it would have been different. I think I just liked the way it was in that workout. 165.
When your training program, when something like Zelos games pops up, does it interfere with your training? How do you manage this with your training?
Yeah, absolutely. I these competitors are freaking amazing, and I mean, I have to work hard in order to perform on the competition floor any day. So absolutely, I make sure I'm tapered off and ready for the weekend.
And then how do you decide, how do you know you want to do this as opposed to stay focused on your schedule that I'm assuming is the CrossFit Games?
I need experience, man. I need on competition floor experience. I need to get my competition legs back under me, just so I can feel confident on the floor. Like, you need to get those reps under you. It's way different to feel good in training than it is to feel good on the competition floor. So.
When you pace a workout in front of a crowd, is that difficult to kind of stay in your own game and
That's
pace?
so good.
I would say that it's different, but it's not difficult per se, because you know you have kind of that extra push from the crowd at the end. So yeah, that's all I got. I'm not too sure.
How old are you?
20.
Do you feel like you have 10 more good years in you?
I hope so.
Is that the goal, the CrossFit Games? Do you want to be the fittest man on the planet?
Absolutely, 100%. Gold is the goal.
Awesome, brother. Thank you so much. Good to finally meet you. Thank you so much for your time. It's obvious that this was that you know you're less than 100% right now, and I really appreciate you taking the time. Got 1,000 people watching you on the live stream, so we really appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. What a score. I've been wanting to talk to him for a while. Great score. Lauren Khalil from the Morning Chalk up to the left of Brian Friend. I hope she's stealing shit from our interview. God knows we've stolen enough from her.
I do want to try to find you can say if you want. Oh, look, now she's trying to get hers in.
So Souza, we're probably 5 minutes since the workout finished, right?
7.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, we're 5 minutes from the workout finishing, Brian, and he is still gasping for air.
I got the lead programmer for the competition here, Kiefer Lamy, if you would like to talk to him and ask him how he thought day one went. Okay,
yes.
I'm going to pass it over.
Yes.
I got the shot here, Brian.
What's going on?
Kiefer, amazing. Thanks, brother. People are absolutely loving the programming. No one on the team has been critical, which is pretty amazing because these guys are born to bash other people. What are your feelings so far? What from what you've seen? Are you happy with what you've seen?
I think it's been a blast. Yeah, I think
you're good. You're good. Sorry, we had a little delay. Go ahead.
I think most of all, I think it's been really exciting and engaging, which was kind of the goal of this whole thing, right? It's only 4 workouts as a test. We know that it's not going to be as comprehensive as it could be, but the workouts are exciting. They've done an awesome job setting up the floor so we can see all the action. You can really cheer people on. And so it's been fun. And I think people are appropriately smashed right now.
They are smashed. That's for sure. I'll let you decide whether it's appropriate. The Z score, you build a competition. You know, you're like, man, this is good. Your programming is being judged by all these pundits all around the world. And then these guys bring in this hairball idea to use Z score on your competition. Does any of that make you nervous, or is it any of that unsettling?
No, I mean, we had a conversation about this before, and I think everybody shows up knowing what the deal is. Like, we're trying out the Z score. It's a new format. Obviously, it's a small competition. And so I don't know if it's for us to decide whether it's right or wrong. It's just what we chose for this, and the outcome will be whatever it is, and we'll learn from it. So I think as far as the competition is concerned, it's not for us to decide if it was a good thing or a bad thing, and I'm excited to see it play out.
What's your background?
Personally or coaching wise?
Yeah, coaching wise, not like how many kids you have or when you lost your virginity. I'm thinking more along the lines of what makes you qualified to do programming on a worldwide scale like this.
I started off as a strength coach working with college athletes, and then I ended up, coaching an affiliate, and I've been with Justin for the last year or two. And so unfortunately, Jared gave me the opportunity to do this. I think, if nothing else, I spend every day working with a group of 8 to 10 elite athletes. And so I have a decent feel for what they're capable of, a decent idea of what's going to be able to push the stimulus we're looking for. And outside of that, it's just people putting faith in us for it.
So you are the programmer for Underdogs Athletics.
Justin and I do it together. Yeah.
Wow. Fantastic. All right, brother. Thank you very much. This is very, very enjoyable, and there've been some incredible races that translate to video and commentating very easily. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, for sure. Drew Gilbert, will there be a comparison between the Z scoring and normal scoring? Loving the coverage so far. Thanks, Drew. Yes, actually, the layout, the spreadsheet that Tyler Watkins has actually has both on there. So you can see in real time the placement with the Z score versus the scoring that they use at the CrossFit Games, which I think is something along the lines of just dividing how many athletes there are into 100 points. Is that how it works, Tyler? The game scoring?
You're on mute, Tyler.
Oh, sorry, Tyler.
Sorry, I just jumped back on. So the game scoring, it's usually some sort of set interval down, 5s, 4s, something like that. It depends on how many people are playing or how many athletes are in and stuff like that. But yeah, it's usually just set down straight.
So basically, is it as simple as taking 20 athletes and dividing it into 100, and each place you fall down, you lose 5 points?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, there she is.
Oh.
Miss Andrea Nisler,
Hello?
hi. Hey.
Hi.
Hey, are you recovered?
What's up? Yeah, I feel
Are you
great. I was
recovered?
gonna go for a hike. So, what's up?
Serious?
Yeah, it's beautiful here.
Why?
Mountains. Because I
But,
don't live by mountains. Why would I not go for a hike?
We saw you. Yeah, there you go. We saw you in the interview. Lauren Khalil was interviewing you, and it looked like you were behind the building, maybe possibly holding back some bodily fluids from your mouth coming out.
So, fun fact: we're at a little bit of elevation, so I blame that a little bit. Also, I'm not fit. But those two combined, yeah, I dry heaved a bit. Didn't throw up. We're fine. It's fine.
Oh, what is the elevation?
It's like 2,000. I live at like 980, so a little bit higher.
I think that the people want to see you compete individually, and
do they?
Yes, and I think the takeaway that you're getting is like, okay, I came out here to remind myself that I don't want to compete individually. What's going on?
You nailed that one, man. Yeah, no, I don't. This is fun. Don't get me wrong. But I need to just do like one a year, and then it's out of my system completely.
So you will you? I heard rumors that you might go to Dubai as an individual. Not true?
No.
And,
nope. Nope.
And you're a last minute competitor in this event. Is that correct?
I am. Yep. Last weekend the thought kind of got thrown out. Had a few drinks and I decided to come. So yeah.
So a late night drink and Jared texts you and says, "Do you want to come?" And then you wake up in the morning and look at your text and you're like, "Oh shit, what did I do?"
That sounds creepier than it was. No, like they asked me and then like I thought about it. Then I had some drinks and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to Vegas. And then yeah, I came.
Stephanie Theringer. Do you know who Stephanie Theringer is? Stefan Theringer?
Yeah.
I love the show. Go Andrea. Big fan. Once you decide to come to something like this, does it affect your training? Does it affect your program to build up to the games?
I mean, I had a few days. I took it easier this last week. Yeah, I guess a little bit. Yeah.
And
really, I don't know.
Let's be honest. You are going to be on the team again, and you are going to be making a bid for the games. That's correct, right?
What's the team?
I don't know what the team. I don't know what the team is, but you have all of this fitness, and I'm staring at you, and I'm like, this girl doesn't want to waste her fitness. She wants to go back another time.
Well, time will tell.
Will Taylor be on your team?
If Taylor'd like to be on my team, yeah, she's welcome on.
She's welcome. All right. When you look at what state are you currently living in?
Oh, I live in Minnesota. Yep.
Okay. Are there any boys in Minnesota that you would like to compete with?
I mean, sure, there's good men everywhere. I'm sure I haven't met some of them. We see people we mesh well with, you know? Yeah. And we don't have to be out of Minnesota. I mean, like, I think the rules are changing this year to where you can kind of, you do the open wherever you're out of, and then the rest is kind of up to you, it seems like.
What would be your favorite state to pluck a couple men out of that would be honored to compete with you and Taylor?
Oh, to pluck them out of? I don't know. I don't really know where people live, but that would be cool. Maybe if we had to do the open in like Hawaii or something, so we had to go there for 3 weeks. I don't know. I feel like any affiliate could just host our team.
I'm just trying to figure out who you are competing with because I think you already know.
Me too.
So you,
no, this is my broadcast. Who wants to be on my team? Raise your hands. Okay.
She's accepting DMs if you want to be on the winning team.
Send me your resumes.
Any chance? What are your plans for tomorrow? Is it to go just completely balls to the wall? You'll be all better tomorrow, all healed up and ready to go.
Yeah, I guess we just have 2 workouts. So one's neck snatch. I'll lift as much weight as I can, and then the other one's a long chipper. So yeah, we'll just see what we do. I have no plans.
Awesome. All right. Thank you for talking to us. I appreciate
Thanks.
it. Enjoy your hike. Enjoy your hike.
Thank you.
Andrea Nisler. I don't know how many CrossFit Games championships does she have? 3, 4?
A few.
3, 4. Brian will be on shortly, and he will let us know. Fantastic, Brian. You're the man for going around and keep getting us these interviews. I really appreciate it. That shit's awesome.
You want more, or are you good?
That's what makes the show special. No, keep getting us them. They're so fucking awkward and fun.
All right, let's see what we can get.
There's your invite, John. There it is from Ken Walters. Do we have let me know when the scoreboard's close to being up? Okay, Brian. Let's take a look at the score. Let's take a look at the scoreboard instead of talking to anyone else. You like her interview, I think you like her interview style. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Do I have okay. Oh shit. I don't know who pulled that up. Must have been Caleb. Thank you, Caleb. This looks like it's only after 2 events.
That's all we've done. That's how many we've had.
Perfect. Tudor Magda currently in first place. James Sprague in second place. Peter Mason in third place. And that's close, right? Especially with the Z-score
yeah, 5
style.
points between Sprague and Mason.
Peter Mason, someone who no one picked to win this, is still within shot very quite easily.
Helps when you have a win. And a big win, too. Let me sort this by event, too.
An event win on anything.
Yeah, when you take away 9 points for an event win.
Anytime you can lock up an event win. Yeah, it's math, we're talking about, you can see these big shifts. Look at Logan Ewing, 2-10. We look at someone like Jack Rose, 9-3, Helbig, 11-4. So there's these opportunities for guys to make some big jumps, and we'll see that again tomorrow with a lift. You have to earn the lift, of course, and then you'll see people that only have 3 minutes to go for it. So the risks that people take to try to maybe make up some of the points they lost today, we'll expect to see more changing on the leaderboard heading into the final.
Can you put these in order of who's currently in first place? Go back, Caleb, to that. And can we see what the scores would be if we were using the game style scoring side by side and compare the two?
Yeah, it might take me a second.
Okay. So using Z-score, Tudor's in first, James in second, and third is Pete Mason. And let's look where Tola's in sixth with 126 points. And Matt DeLugos, one of the favorites, is all the way down in 10th with 82 points after 2 events.
Yeah, and I think that we're, even though he's not in the top 3 right now, I'm looking at Leonel Franco there with 150. He's not too far behind either. He hasn't done anything phenomenal, but a 5th and a 5th are keeping him relevant in that conversation. Ultimately, the top 4 guys will be in the final heat for the last workout, and that's definitely somewhere that he would want to be. He's in that position right now, and he'll have to manage the snatch tomorrow to make sure he stays there.
Jan Clark, thank you. Great coverage. Thanks, gents. Jan just took his level 1. Anyone DM him and ask it how it went. He took it over in the United Kingdom. Nisler only won twice with Mayhem Freedom. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Daniel Stevenson, Sevon, stop cursing. My kids are up and about. Fine, I understand. I will do my best. Thank you for the
Good thing that Taylor is in here.
criticism. I will do my best. Hello, kids. Hello, Stevenson kids. You're great kids. Do as I say, not as I do. Tyler Watkins is about to pull up the scores for us so we can see how this would look with regular scoring, CrossFit game style scoring.
Hey, Tyler.
Yeah.
After the third event tomorrow, will you be able to project how much somebody would need to beat somebody by to beat them in the last event?
5 seconds, yes, I could do that. I could back calculate it. So, given a little bit of data, but yes.
Okay, I want to point out the most interesting fact on this right away. If you look at 5th and 6th place between Jack Rosama and Tola Moraquinho, you'll see those are the only 2 spots that would be switched around. The 5th and 6th
Not
place
the only
spot.
2. Not the only 2. 7 and 8 would also change.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. And Dennis and Logan.
And before you get into the specifics, what you're about to talk about is pretty common with the Z-score compared to the traditional scoring. It's not always. It does affect the top and bottom sometimes, but it's very common for the middle placings to have some variance like you're about to highlight.
And why the middle ones?
Because, well, actually, Tyler's probably going to be better at explaining that than me.
Good. Tyler, you're up, baby. Why the middle scores? Don't worry if no one understands. This is just you're practicing reps and refining your explanation.
This scoring system sort of forces you to the middle. It wants to know the scores will bunch up towards the middle, and then as you get away, it becomes more exaggerated. So the better you do, the more you score.
Okay. Tudor Magda has 180 here. And first place, if he would have 168 if we were using game scoring, and he would only be 8 points ahead of James Sprague and only 16 points ahead of Peter Mason. And when we use the Z score, he's 20 points ahead of Peter Mason and 15 points. Tudor Magda's 15 points ahead of James Sprague. But either way, it looks like both of them pick the top 3 spots, which what does that mean? Can we draw any conclusions from that when we see Z score and general game scoring, CrossFit game scoring, pick the same top 3 guys?
I mean,
no.
Go ahead, John.
In most competitions, this is usually the case. The top doesn't change much, and sometimes it does, but most of the time it doesn't, because whoever is at the top scored the most points, and they are the fittest person, and the same would reflect in Z-score. Where the middle, I feel like specialists tend to float towards the middle because they'll do really good at one event and really bad at another event. That ends up in the middle. But for Z-score, since it takes into that account, that's where the most shifting occurs by how much somebody beats somebody by.
The only reason you see shift up in the first 3 is usually if the margins are very tight. So I rescored a Rogue Invitational, and Chandler won that way. And it's like, okay, they would have competed differently. There's all these, confounds. But the performance between Medeiros and Chandler, other than the log clean, was really close. And so my scoring system breaks out that closeness better. It's very minute detail, whereas the game scoring system is sort of blunt force. It just separates you.
Can we take a look at the female scores?
Yep.
Do you have a preference, Tyler? Do you like the Z scoring better?
That's a long-winded conversation. Yes, I am biased to a degree, but it's all about what we want. If we want to incentivize fitness, I think my scoring system is better. If you want to incentivize a sport and just be about gaming, then you're fine with what you have.
Interesting. Okay. Great answer. Can we also see the games points for the women? Is that possible?
I'll
also
work on that while we're talking.
Okay. In first place, Andrea Nisler with the Z-score of 198, which just sounds like she's kicking ass. Alex Kazan, 171. Devin Kim, 154. And 2 times CrossFit Games athlete Christine Kohlenbrander, 148. She is a 2 times CrossFit Games athlete. Is that correct, Brian?
Once on individual and once on team, I think.
Brian, you're muted. You got there. You go.
I'm sorry. Back now. Yeah, same with John said. If you count as the team performances, but again, to your point, the one thing that doesn't change with the scoring is the maximum points available. So it's still out of a 200 points possible through 2 events, and obviously Nisler's 198 is about as good as you could do.
And Nisler's supposed to win this Zelos Games live competition piece, right?
I mean, we would think that she's probably, based on everything we know about these athletes' history, one of the fittest, if not the fittest woman in the field. But we know that some athletes are coming into this a little bit tapered and maybe trying to compete at a high level is something they're trying to really make a mark this offseason. I think that's what James Sprague is doing, for example. And some of the others are maybe not. And in Nisler's case, I mean, you guys just spoke to her, and we know that she's had some pretty big life events. She's been doing some traveling. She maybe hasn't been going to the dark place and training so much. And with variables like that coming in, it leaves it a little bit more open that someone could possibly beat her here. But after 2 events, obviously she looks great as we expected her to look.
I think the biggest life event that we heard from her is that she almost puked behind CrossFit Rhino. GG Strong, one more for the greatest commentators ever. Thank you. I appreciate everyone. I especially appreciate Brian for carrying so much of this, and John Young coming on, even though he's concussed, and Tyler sharing his. I mean, how cool is it that we have the scoring guy at our access for an event at a moment's notice? Everything here, I feel like we're doing is if there's a perfectly well-rounded workout, I feel like this is if I may float our own boat, a perfectly well-rounded broadcast. We've supported the affiliates. We've supported the level 1. We've supported the athletes, trying to get as close to them as we can. We've supported the programming. We've supported the scoring. We've got to look at the judging. We've got to look at the sponsors. We've got a wide variety of people, commentators. It is truly, I think there's a word for it that's a really big buzzword, inclusive. Jay Hartle,
trigger word,
and her husband is hot as I can't say it because I'm not supposed to be swearing because there's kids listening right now, but I'm guessing that Jay Hartle might be Andrea Nisler's husband. Could that be it?
Or anyway, a fan of her husband.
Yeah, or a fan. And even the great Tommy Marquez knows that it's important to watch this revolutionary broadcast event. Butch Carpenter, look at that, Butch. Haven't seen that do in a long time.
Butch.
For the fire content during the event, I love it. We love you, Butch. God, I love seeing your profile.
Saban, do you know who that is?
I have no idea, but I just every time he pops up his profile pic, I get a little excited. Like I should look in the
Butch.
like he's. I can't believe wherever a guy who has hair like that has internet. I can't even believe it.
Butch was a savior for me 2 years ago at the games when I got kicked out. We became friends there. He would hold a spot for me so I could do interviews with you right up to the last minute and set a good vantage point for the workouts. And this year, he and Tyler had tickets together at the games there in the second row. So it was great. He's a great guy, works really hard, and get to catch up with him at the games every year.
I remember that. Thanks, Butch, for holding a place for Brian for us. That was awesome. Jay Hartle, Jared Stevenson. I'm straight, but damn man crush. Oh, for Christine Kohlenbrander's husband. Yeah, he's pretty hot. You're right. Okay. Tyler Watkins has pulled up alongside his amazing Z-score, the old and archaic CrossFit Game style scoring. And we see that Andrea Nisler would have 192 instead of 198. Alex Kazan would have 168 instead of 171. Devin Kim would have 152 instead of 154. And you go all the way down, and all the scoring, all the placements would be identical regardless of the scoring they use.
So the order's relatively the same.
But you have a couple.
Fourth and sixth.
So probably the biggest change there is Sigurd, her daughter, who's closing. She closes that 12-point gap against Cole and Brander in the game scoring. And that makes sense because remember in the game scoring, there's less variables. You can only get this many points, this many points, this many points, or this many points. You can't have a 4-point spread and then a 12-point spread and then a 3-point spread and then an 8-point spread. So you're much more likely to get ties using that fixed scoring model. Whereas in the Z-score, there's basically an infinite number of possibilities because it's rewarding the output, the fitness that can be obviously very variable. And that's why you get so many more ties in that model.
Well, look at Christine
Jacqueline
Kohlenbrander. Sorry, she's held down in the game style scoring. We shouldn't say game scoring because this isn't their scoring, but in the game style scoring, she would be 20 points lower than she is now. Now she could make real moves being 20 points closer to the rest of the field as opposed to 20 points down. I mean, she's much more in the fight with those 20 points.
Jacqueline Robinson, $5 from Canada. Thank you. Always generous. Here's the question everyone's always going to be asking you, I'm sure. Would Justin have won the games this year on Z-score?
Yeah, he won more so this year. It was more stated.
I think it's unfair to do Z-score on other competitions unless the athletes know they're operating on Z-score. So when you apply that to like Rogue, the athletes they're operating on the scoring system giving to them, which is gaming it if they're ahead of somebody or whatever, what have you. If they knew they were trying to beat people as much as they can when they can, it would be different. Athletes go ahead.
There's a few things here. So it's like you would change the way you program. You would just be more delicate about the way you program. You would think about how athletes were going to score, time ranges different, that you would be much more particular about scoring, and you would cater to that a little bit. And then also, yes, games athletes would compete differently. I think they would train differently leading up to the games. But I think the main thing that I've taken away from running this live is that, and then retroactively putting it on events, is that what we see, I don't know how much more athletes can give. Like we talked about it it's
a great conversation. And actually, yeah. And I talked to James about that. He was asking me, he's like, what would have happened in the scoring if I got one more? What would have happened if I got one less? And he basically affirmed the suspicion that we had, where if he had jumped up early and tried to not just win, but win by an extra rep, that he might have actually ended up missing that rep and ending back up in that ultimate tie for first. So even while he's thinking about that as a possibility, he still has to weigh that against what's realistically possible in terms of physical output. But the athletes are learning and the coaches are learning and they're asking questions. I mentioned that Tudor's coach was asking me some stuff. James was asking me some stuff, and he goes, in the workout like the final, where you can take a little bit more risk potentially. If you're feeling good, you can maybe accelerate on the rower. You can risk kicking up for a handstand walk to try to win by a bigger margin against your heat or the field. So those things will factor in tomorrow, especially in that final workout once there's a little bit more clarity in terms of where people stand. And we'll be able to have the conversation that John was asking about. What does this person need to do this? And the athletes will know that if I am in the lead, I can't just coast in here. I got to keep the pedal down and try to give myself the best chance to separate from the rest of the guys.
John Young brought up a very good point when he said that it's unfair to put the Z-score when the athletes don't know it, and that's a very good point. And in defense of Tyler Watkins, he did mention it. He didn't explain it quite as clearly as John Young did, but he did say that, like, if they don't know how they're playing or what's on the line, then they're obviously not going to push as hard. That being said, this is a very interesting comment by Stephen Plyler. Hear me out. With Z-score, when you have a fiasco like the bike event at the games, that's the one where the guys didn't know how many laps they were doing and they came in too early and there were penalties assessed. Z-score exacerbates the screw up. Z-score would be an extremely high premium on how penalties are dealt with. Very well written. Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler, that should be how it is now.
Pardon me?
That should be how it is now.
So there's two elements of this. The first is what Tyler already acknowledged, which is, it's not just in the Z-score model, but the level of preparation should account for potential problems like that, and should be exploring options for problems like that so that they don't happen, or that at least there's the little opportunity as possible for happening. Additionally, what Andrew Hiller has done here as the head judge is he's already laid out ahead of time what the penalties are for certain things. So we've thought about every one of the possible no reps, and there are some things that he's trying out here For example, if you accrue 30% of no reps on a specific movement across a workout, your workout's invalid. That I don't think that that's ever been used before in a competition, but it's known. And therefore we can have in a bike to work event, you could say like it's with all the implements we've put in place, it's really unlikely that anyone miss a lap. But if they miss a lap, this is the penalty. And then you assess the penalty that has been communicated ahead of time. They still have a score that can still be applied to whatever the model is.
So repeat that one more time. What was that you said about 30%?
If you, for example, let's say that you got 30% of your dumbbell, because remember this is an online competition here at the Zelos games for the big picture. If you get, let's just say 30% of your burpees end up being no reps because you didn't get your chest to the ground. If you're over the 30% threshold for the workout, it's an invalid workout. If it's less than 30% of the total reps, then there's a penalty assessed per rep that is deemed a no rep.
Okay. All right, that seems fair. I don't know where they came up with 30%, but it absolutely seems fair. Christian Leon, Brian as a commentator is the most valuable free agent in the CrossFit space. We've known this for a couple of years now that Brian is arguably very easily the best commentator in the space. It's 100% obvious. Anything else you guys would like to add before I talk about tomorrow, about what we saw today?
I would just like to say this because that was obviously a nice thing that you said, but no one can do that on their own. It requires a team. It requires people in the right places and planning. And just, in general, I am not a person that can carry a broadcast or a podcast on my own. I need someone like you there to ask me questions, like these guys, just to fill in and support. It's not any one person that can get this thing done.
That commentating you did for that final event once you were warmed up was unfucking believable. And it was like watching a horse race. And I felt like I was listening to AM radio, like I was a little kid, like a boxing match, when it's like, you would think boxing would be stupid on the radio, but when you get a good commentator, it's not. You hear his voice and he's talking you through it, and you talked us through it. And, it was brilliant. Tomorrow, the show will start approximately 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. There's a chance that we might start at 9:15, but I doubt it. I think we'll start at 9 a.m. sharp. That will be our pre-show. There we will talk about a little bit about today. We'll talk about what to expect for the rest of the day tomorrow. We'll go over the scores again. We'll probably talk to some athletes, courtesy of Brian and Souza. Joining us on that first will be Brian, JR, and Taylor. We'll have the rest of the gang sprinkled in throughout the rest of the day. There are 2 events left. The leaderboard, the top 3 people are very close. There's no sure winner. And it will be very similar to today in terms of format and presentation. John Young, thanks for coming on. I'm glad you're okay. You look great. Tyler Watkins, fantastic. I like whatever room you're in or attic space or whatever. Very cute. And Brian Friend, you are a man amongst boys, and thank you. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for all the money you donated. Gray, DM me, and I'll set your mom and Brian up. Peace.